But.
Maybe we'll have to talk to Ashley.
All over again.
No, but I mean, it was just a one pass field variance.
No, there's two.
Two, okay.
One's long and one's,
Then a better look.
He'll come right back and tell you you gotta finish.
Okay.
yeah. I guess we'll get started. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, so Gina sent you guys the document I sent her, which is our 10-year solid waste management plan, which we talked about this about 12 to 15 months ago. We talked about when Greg and I said, hey, this is our first go around, so we'd like to have a consultant do it. So this is between myself, the consultant, and the PTA, a couple different folks there. This is the revision they've come up with that they'd like to put out for public comment. So what she wanted me to do is come to you guys and kind of get a thumbs up that they can go out for public comment, because we aren't the ones who do the public comment. They post it to their MPCA place where they do all these plans. And typically they get other state agency folks, that's about it, who comments, but maybe they'll get somebody from the public. It just depends on how it goes. But the main purpose of the whole thing is how are you gonna get to that 35% by 2030? And us, the main one is Pope Douglas with their upgraded machinery and upgraded MRF stuff. That's gonna help us a ton. But then there's a list of about a half a dozen or so different items we can do at the county level or try to. But there's an understanding there that we're a small rural county, that some of these things are gonna be a little difficult or aren't gonna equate to a whole lot of tons. It might be quite a bit of work to get to those tons. But the PCA wants to see something in there that we are making an effort besides just hoping that somebody else does the work and, piggyback. So the main ones are talking to places like Ruby's or the Food Shelf and trying to get some tonnages from them, because that counts as a portion of the organics for food to people. It's like a subcategory of it instead of it just going to the trash.
Right.
So that's kind of the main ones in there, and those could probably be our best bang for our buck on weight. But again, they're both not gonna be that much weight, but. And then the other part was focusing on making our website up to date with all the current forms and all the different flyers and all the different places you can take your waste, or all the different places you can recycle here in the county, or that kind of thing. It's pretty good. Yeah, all those services we provide, and all those places are, you can take your bulky materials to Ingebrigtsen, and you can take them to this place or wherever. They'd like us to kind of do a little more on there. And then the big one is our ordinance is quite dated, 70s, 80s-ish. So they'd like to see that updated, and that's kind of easy ones. The ordinance will be hard, but those are the main ones they want to talk about. And like we talked before, when we send up Otter Tail, us and about a half dozen other counties are doing that big construction demolition work study deal to try and figure out where it's gonna go if the state passes their liner law or doesn't pass it or changes the rules. So those are kind of the main ones.
Those for the counties that got MSW sites, so.
No, for demolition and construction debris landfills, yeah. But
MSW.
all of ours, no, the MSW is just municipal solid waste, like your regular garbage. Just is more for like your project containers, your wood, your shingles, your all that kind of.
The church.
Yeah, so the state's talking about passing some stuff about making you have to have some liners and leachate collection and all kinds of stuff that would force a lot of our local ones to probably close, but that's why we jumped into that big pilot program to do a big work study analysis and all that. So I just wanted to come give you guys the heads up if you have any questions or comments you want to talk about with it, or between now and probably, I don't know, the end of September, October-ish, when they're gonna put it out here, hopefully next week or so, depending if you guys get the green light to do it. And then what'll happen is they'll go out for public comment. People will comment for either 30 or 60 days, and then I'll come back and let the county board say, hey, these are the comments, these are the changes. Now we can adopt this and move forward with doing it.
So do we gotta track all this construction stuff that leaves the county too, like through Tom Kramer or any of that? No.
No, because most of the places it goes don't track what county it comes from, so then it doesn't allow us to have any ability to do that. Some of them do and do some reporting, so that's how we get some of the data from the state, but all this stuff is on already stuff we already do or have already plans to do, so it's no additional anything for our office. It's just kind of status quo with some focused efforts to try and get some of these outer edge tonnages and stuff like that. So it's pretty straightforward, but we've got through 3 different MPCA folks with retirements and leaving and new hires. So it's been a process. But so at your regular board meeting here later this morning, I'll just come and basically look for a green light or not a green light, I suppose, to go out for public comment, but it's a pretty basic plan that allows us to get that funding that we need through the SCORE dollars, so that's just part of the gig. Did any of you guys have any questions with that plan at all? Okay, it's quite lengthy, it's dang near 80 pages, but there's some good stuff in there, but a lot of it's just geared toward pleasing the state or pleasing the stuff if you after grants or that kind of stuff.
I see in some of the language of construction and demolition debris.
Yep.
Okay, and it says Grant County's demo debris is landfill.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then Grant County would coordinate with pollution control with an approval process to consider allowing it permit roadside.
Yeah, right now you can, there's still
You
permit,
still do that?
yeah, but you still gotta work through PCAs,
Right, but
which
it's more of a, was county acknowledgement at one point.
at one time, yeah, and now I think it's a little more strict than it used to be. You know, it used to just be the county signed off saying, yep, we know it's there, it's reported, all that.
Right,
But now they want you to have a deal on your deed that says, yep, this is buried here.
yeah,
It's this many feet above the water table. It wants to be a little more
separation.
dialed in and yeah. That's kind of how they've been leaning for the last couple of years. And even that, they don't necessarily like, the state doesn't like that urban by rule much anymore, but it's kind of what it is.
Well, we got by with it because of the fact that, you know, there was no landfill within the county.
Yeah,
And
there's-
now there's a little bit more scrutiny to the process.
Yeah.
Which should be, because we're targeting water quality hugely.
Spend a lot of dollars on water
Yeah.
quality.
You know, the MRF down there, you know, Folk Douglas, they're doing a whole different model down there, you know, making sure that water doesn't pollute, that it goes into some type of a sedimentation basin, and then they gotta sample that before they even,
Before they release it, then.
right?
Out the ash site, they got quite the amount of wells and different ways to try and keep it out of there.
Yep,
So,
it's good that they do that because it's time. For past time.
other than that was all I had on that part. So, once you guys have other stuff, I'll just come to the board here in a little while and do that piece.
I guess I don't have anything.
No, I don't.
Do you wanna stop after the board meeting up there for 2 minutes? I got some questions about some past stuff that you were involved with long before my time.
Okay. Where,
All right, thanks for having us back. Just as a reminder, I'm Amy, I work at Horizon Public Health. And I serve in the role as the facilitator between the Grant County Opioid Task Force and the county board with help from your coordinator. So today we're just here as the work session to talk about the 2 applications that got tabled from your last board meeting. And I have Jen Vipon with me from the sheriff's office. So I think this is an opportunity, from my understanding, if there's any specific questions about the application, to have those. So this to chair for next steps.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
Do you want to go over like the process of what public health does?
Sure, we can go with that.
Well, I mean, let's go over the application, the renewal. What public health is doing in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
yep, so you're talking updating something that, not
Well-
on the county? Like,
Not updating, we're just going back over the process that this board approved.
Right,
of how we would do it.
right.
So according to Grant County Resolution 23-0402, back in April 4th of 2023, there was a resolution passed by the board. Whereas Horizon Public Health will serve as its role as a facilitator to help Grant County Board use the settlement dollars. The Grant County Task Force was intended to be the body evaluating the initiative proposals to make recommendations and decisions to the county board. And then we would bring that information and those recommendations to the county commissioners to form and empower such our task force. And then the county board and commissioners establishes on the date that the task force would be a working group charged with making decisions and recommendations on the use of the current and for future settlement funds. I would like to note that we do use the state of Minnesota's MOA. There is a 13-page document where they outline everything that can be approved. So we have gone through that process to ensure that the applications do meet what is approved by the state use of the funds.
And I think I put it in their packet.
Yeah.
It was in there.
And then we have assembled a task force, and the task force agencies are Horizon Public Health, Western Prairie, Grant County Probation, the Sheriff's Office, the Veteran Service Director. There has been a Grant County Commissioner appointed to this, which is Commissioner Johnson, a healthcare representative from Lake Region, the Grant County Coordinator, a Grant County Collaborative Coordinator, and then a member at large. And the member at large actually has not been appointed yet. But with that extended task force, we meet and we discuss the applications. There is a larger group as well. It's called the Grant County Advisory Council. That council meets about quarterly a year. And that is a larger group that we come and just talk about substance use and mental health in the community as well. What are the needs? What's happening? And we do an annual SWOT where we talk about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that we have in the community, where we then can bring to the top sort of what are the specific needs in specifically Grant County. And then we bring those needs to that task force. So then when applications come through, we can have that conversation. So, and going back to that resolution at the bottom, anything that is the task force, we do vote by majority vote. We do have then, you know, minutes and notes from those meetings. Anything that is a proven direct payment of the initial proposals requiring the opioid funds should not exceed $5,000. So anything that's over $5,000, we bring to this board, but it has been my practice to bring all applications to the board so you can see all of them as well. So this is the process that got laid out a couple years ago. This is the same process that Horizon Public Health replicates across all 5 counties we serve. So yeah, questions, discussion about the process.
I have a question.
Yes.
How and who are we handling critical incident debriefings now and in the past?
Yep, so we are making it, it's becoming like just an original thing to do. But we are,
Excuse me, let me, you said we are what in it?
we are trying to make it like, just as if we calibrate our radars, we get a debriefing. So we have, a couple, like the EMS and Lake Region, we have gotten together, a couple of us, and we are using, Lake Region has a debriefer, a chaplain who will come. And so no matter what the call is, like if it's a critical or a death or, you know, we call on him and then we set it up either at the sheriff's office or we try to do it within a week. We try to do it within a 3-4 days, but depending on,
Process.
there is a process, yep. But we're trying to streamline it. We're not quite there yet, but we're trying to make it like just automatic. Yep.
Are you talking, Jen, where they have to participate? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, cause I, you know, I've been to quite a few of those debriefings.
yeah.
Some people don't wanna go, but they should go.
Yep, and so we encourage, I mean, we can't make anybody go unless it was in our policy.
Right.
But we encourage everybody to go. You don't have to say anything. But the chaplain is really good at identifying like, okay, person might be struggling and might just call on he or she just to try to get them opened up a little bit but usually by the end of the session, everybody feels really good.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Is that system like built to Horizon or to us or something like that? Do we pay for that service?
No,
Yeah,
no, it's all voluntary.
It is.
Yep, and it's, yeah, it's voluntary. Yep, yep, which is very beneficial to us. I mean, it saves our budget. Yeah, yeah, but we're trying to make it more streamlined, just like everybody will get used to it. This is, yep, you're gonna come in on your day off. Yep, but we really need to talk about it.
And doing this before it's a court appointed thing, correct? Or would it go through the courts for something like that and then we utilize that service or not?
No,
Okay.
no,
It's whatever you feel you need it.
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. And should it be happening more? Probably, but
yeah.
we're trying to get it to be automatic. Cause it is so important and it can have lasting effects on somebody. Yep.
What's your intent for the wellness checks?
What's that?
What's your intent for the wellness checks?
So it's called a checkup from your neck up. And so in the application states, it's 1 in 25 and 2 in 26. So I reached out to other agencies that are contracting with somebody. And I asked if she would be willing to come over and take on Grant County, not contracted, like other agencies are doing like 25 hours a month. I just asked if she would be willing to take, 16, 17 other employees on. And she has agreed. And so she would come over one time in 25, and she would meet with everybody. And it's not mandatory. Other agencies it is, but we are not making it mandatory at this time. And that she would meet with somebody and just talk to them about their job, their life. Yep. And then she will also produce training for us, which I do find it would be beneficial. And now it's also mandatory that every chief law enforcement officer has to have a mental, in service for mental wellness for every police officer that they house.
That's in the budget, the wellness checks.
No, this is the opioid.
Yeah, I understand that in the budget for the order. That's in that.
Yes, yeah, yep.
So the licensed psychologist will be subcontracted through Lakeland? Or
No,
where would
it's
they-
not through, she has her own business. It's Erica Overshine. She's out of Alexandria, Minnesota, and she, solely just, it's her work is designated to police officers and law enforcement. So she recognizes PTSD. She specializes in that. And knows like of the critical role and of how hurt people can be, just by doing her job.
Right.
Yeah. And not that this matters at all to you guys, but maybe it does. I did find last week that there is state statute that, if a county does have like an EAP program or a mental wellness policy, in place that the employer can apply for money from the state. And so, I believe probably Ashley's already doing that, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Ashley, before this morning. But, and then I also recognize that there was a new law that was passed in 2023 where every chief law enforcement officer has to have this, wellness in service. And if you do have that and it meets the objectives of the Minnesota Post Board, that the employer, which would be you guys, could apply for money to receive back.
So it'd be credited hours for you guys' licenses as well?
Yep, we have to have it.
Okay.
Yep, and that was just something new, unbeknownst to multiple sheriffs. It was just kind of slid in there and, yes, we have to have it we have to have credits, so many credits every 3 years.
Right.
Yep. So, but by us doing that, you can, as the employer, can receive money back from the state. So,
Part of the success of the program, you reference having clear metrics, to track progress, talk about that.
I'm hoping that, well, I think like for the second part, I think we would be able to track that best. I think it would be difficult for us to track.
Let me stop you for a second.
Yep.
Physical track, yeah. What are you talking about there?
For the physical fitness, we would be able to look and to see who has been attending a gym. You know, that would be easy to track because that's, but I don't feel comfortable and I don't think it would be wise for us to write down the people that are gonna go talk to the counselor. You know, I just hopefully you would see an uplift in you know, our officers' mentality or our dispatch. I guess just helping the stigma get out, like we wanna help and whatever we can do
Can be trusted.
and be trusted, yep, yep.
Do you anticipate this program to be a very heavy lift for you
A heavy lift.
or a lot of work?
No, I don't think so. No, no.
Because you made reference that the level of staffing is quite low, and I know you've told us you're overworked. Now you're taking on more, so
Oh.
expound on that.
Oh, well, I don't know if I ever said I was overworked, but,
Why didn't you?
okay. No, I think this is very important and I don't think it's addressed enough. You know, when I went to school, you know, 20 some years ago, you know, this was something that you didn't talk about. And some today still believe that, but I believe we need to talk about it because we need to work through it because I still need officers or we still need first responders and EMS to do what they want to do. And if they don't get the help they need, then we lost them.
So is there anyone in the room that would have been around when we had a wellness program and a wellness committee? And then I understand funding either went away and or the committee got dissolved. Obviously, I wasn't, so I'm asking the questions. Can someone expound on what would have been the past wellness committee for Grant County?
I don't think we had one. Did we?
I think I've been told we did. It was when our health insurance,
It was what?
it was when our health insurance helped pay for like a physical fitness. I think there was some extra monies that
Like
grant.
the Lake Region Co-op
Lake
Would-
Country Co-op.
No, that's.
would fund the wellness program. Yeah, Lake Country, yeah, I've heard it. So that, when we went away from them for insurance, then the funding was gone.
Well, I can tell you firsthand how important being able to talk to somebody about what happened when you're in this field, you know, when you see children get killed and people drowned and suicides and just a whole bunch of bad things that happen. I know everyone I went to, I've been to about 3, you just feel a little bit better about it. It doesn't ever leave your mind though. Cause I can sit here right now and tell you every one of them.
Mhm.
You can do, every one of them, so, but it's important that they have somebody to talk to about it, because we've all seen with some police officers and law enforcement people, is, they go take their own life every once in a while, because of what they've, seen and been exposed to, so. But anyway, things like that are gonna keep happening, and somebody has to respond to these situations, and it's good that they can have an avenue where they can go talk to somebody. So it helped me, that's all I can say, so.
It helps you open up, is that what you're trying to say?
I don't think
Cause
there's
you
any
got this
question.
stuff embedded in you. If you can't just tell anybody, but if you can tell somebody, you know, what you've seen and what you heard, you know, it helped. And you do feel a little bit better after these sessions. Cause I've been in groups where there was like, probably 6, 8, 10 of us, you know? And then some of them are quiet, like Jen said, but towards the end, they were opening up, you know, a little bit on what they seen and felt, so, you know. So that part of it, yeah, I'm fully supportive of that, so.
So I don't think there's, in my mind, there's any question. And I've read your application that it's a fine program. I was at Hero Day and I thought it was interesting, and I'll pass down, I grabbed 3 brochures. That they put together a mental armor program. And I received from Ashley a copy of our employee assistance program. And I look at what we have available, and pretty much, they're very much a duplicate. And I just think that these opioid funds are a huge opportunity. But the challenge I have is we're taking grant dollars from the opioid program and creating another program within a department. And I think we have an opportunity from a leadership standpoint. And I referred to a little bit like maybe a hub and spokes. That maybe this application needs to be the hub. And it involves all the county and all the departments and the metal armor and the employee assistance program and this, and that we don't isolate and recreate what's already in place in maybe 2 or 3 other instances. And then we go back to the wellness committee led by department heads that are interested, rather than creating another wellness program. And for that reason, I'm against it.
I'm gonna say something about the mental armor program. Those are all donations, and those are for veterans, first responders, EMS, and law enforcement. This is more tailored to Grant County and to our employees to keep them healthy.
And it's interesting because I thought of that and I did a little
Yeah.
research and had a discussion with someone who was involved in it. But we have people,
I'm on the board.
we have people that are employees that are also EMTs.
Yep.
And so the need for mental health is, I think, way bigger.
It is,
And so,
but we have to start somewhere.
thank you.
Well, and that proposal's not what's in front of us.
No, I
The
like
all
that. I'm against it.
I mean, but I mean, right, but that
Yeah, but
proposal you're talking about is not what's in front of us.
I know. I know it's not. I just think that if we're gonna take on another EAP program for a department, we have missed. Our vision is narrowed down to the 17 or however many employees.
And I'm not putting down EAP because I do think it's a great program. I just don't think it's being utilized, but also they are not gonna provide training that we have to have. That's not required. They can't provide that.
Another thing, Jen, are they gonna get it when you need it? Is it there
The EAP.
with this here? When you need it? How accessible is that?
It's very accessible,
but-
you know,
Okay,
but it's not only just for law enforcement, it's for,
right.
you know, and that is taken up from donations from the agencies, so.
We're gonna have to wrap up here because it's 9 o'clock and I have to start our other meeting. So, any more questions or anything? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So are you still wanting me to go to the board with my applications? Like,
I am.
What's on the agenda?
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
at
You're on there.
Yep, okay.
9:50.
Thank you.
Okay, at 9 o'clock, we'll stand for the pledge. All meeting order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the addition's not on here, right?
The addition of Greenville and Grand County Historical Society.
With that addition, I'll call for the motion, or make the motion, I should say.
No second it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Meeting minutes were sent out.
We do need to put in under the HRA that I voted against that.
Right, that was that under HRA, where it says the motion was made by John Spear? That's the one you voted against?
That's fine, yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yep. Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the, meeting minutes.
What's that change?
Yeah, with that change.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The warrants were also sent out.
Mr. Chair, I have a question about, David Drone, Human Resources, that $50,000 check, how many more are there gonna show up, and is that the first, second, or third?
So,
So that's the cost of the county, that's it?
For the wage study, the ongoing
Yep.
maintenance stuff. You know, there'll be
It'll be,
for any kind of reclassification, things like that, but that is the full amount for the wage. study.
Make a motion to approve the warrants.
got a motion, do we get a second?
second,
Any more discussion on any of the bills? If not, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Opposed, carried. Ashley?
All right, so the first thing I have is, the account tech and the supervision, with the reclassifications. We're currently advertising for the account tech position. It'll close this week. And so right now, the county treasurer Jamie is fulfilling the duties of the position until we can get it filled. Now that we are transitioning that position to the treasurer's office, the personnel committee met and, the recommendation would be to increase for, pay by one step on the scale for the additional duties and the supervision of the position. So it'd be $1.45 increase for her. So it'd be us going from a step 8 to a step 9.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion and second, any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye,
Opposed, carried.
All right, so the next thing I have is a memorandum of agreement for the sheriff's office to add for the incentive pay. We have a list of incentive pay options for the deputies for the sheriff's office, and we need to add one more, and that is the DARE program. So the DARE program is coming to Grant County. We have a limit to 2 employees for the DARE program that can be instructors of that. And it's my understanding, Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, we have one that's in training.
We have, in 2 weeks. And
really,
so,
and that counts toward their licensing,
yes,
credited hours,
yeah,
too,
those
as well.
are-
And so just a refresher on the incentive pay, an employee that has one of the certifications gets $250 a quarter. And an employee that has 2 of the certifications will get $500 a quarter. So this one will be added to the list and there's limit to 2. The other item I wanted to add in here is increasing the firearms instructor from 1 to limit of 2 employees. There's one more.
Yep, we typically always have 2. We've been short the last couple of years, so we've only had 1. We will.
We should have had, it should have been as 2 anyway. I mean, they're all the rest of them are 2, right?
Right.
Yes. So that would be just a change for that, but the addition would be the DARE program. So that is. what I
So-
meant.
maybe I should know this, that we approved, back to the opioid, grant, we approved DARE funds for opioid, but is that for support material or for this?
That's for the training, so that
That's for the
the
training.
individual can get trained, right? It's for the, well, the whole program. So the individual gets trained and then there's a packet of material and.
But it doesn't fund this extra pay, this $1,000 a year, okay.
And I think that funding is too to, you know, purchase, stuff that you need when you're in session with those students.
Yeah.
Is it still a 2-week training?
It is still true.
Cause I went to that 1990 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a great program, you know? And, I got to be sheriff in 95, so then Dale Christopherson took it. And, then after he passed away, I filled in for a couple of years. And then some other people did it, but it's an important program. Cause you get to know those kids. And, you know, you just get people that you know, and they respond to you real well. So I enjoyed it. Very important. I'm glad she's doing that.
So just looking for a motion to accept the memorandum of agreement, so it'll be signed by Doyle and sent to the union for a signature as well.
I'll make a motion to add 2 DARE spots and an additional firearms instructor.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Reed?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Oh, kind of like we chatted this morning during the work session, this is the big plan of basically where all the waste in the county goes and different routes, and the main focus was how are we gonna get to our 35% by 2030. So the state's now at their final, here's your final draft, just to do public comment, and then there'll be some minor tweaks before it comes to you guys the second time with the highlighted changes and then for approval. So all I'm looking for here is a green light to go out and have them put it out for public comment.
I think that one, Mr. Chair.
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Motion and a second, any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay.
And we have a Riverview resolution, well, there's wasn't be nobody here for that.
Chad brought it to me. Chad, are you on, do you have anything you want to say about the third party agreement for Riverview Dairy?
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the middle of something else here. I think it was first quarter, by the way. Okay. I really don't have anything, I guess. It was forwarded to me. It was sent to Justin because it's more probably out of my realm, more of Justin's realm. He reviewed it and said it looked fine, so there's a couple of things in there that they're still waiting to hear back from the bond attorneys on. Which is minor, shouldn't affect the passage of the agreement and resolution. Are you guys all aware of what Riverview Dairy, what this is about?
No, you're talking the state bank bonds that was secured through us as an LGU?
Correct. So back in, I'd have to look at the resolution again. It's been a few years. Riverview,
It was before 2020, we were up in the courthouse.
Yep. Riverview Dairy obtained bonding through the state. We had to secure those bonds or be part of the whole process for $20 million for their lagoons when they built their dairy operation in North Ottawa Township. We don't have to state any of the monies on our debt. It's just kind of a pass through. And they are now apparently just switching their trustees for those bonds that were sold back in, I think, 1819, somewhere in there.
So the document, Tina, there's highlights, is that significant to us?
Just, I believe the blue highlights in what was in the board packet was just highlighting it. Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, where it talks about Grant County, Grant County's responsibility, just so we didn't miss those points.
Okay.
So Chad, what was the purpose of, going from the, the Argent in institutional trust to the US Bank Trust? What was the purpose of that?
No
You know?
idea. No idea. We were really not involved in any of it. We were just notified of this change. This is just not Grant County. It's several counties in the state, and it also involves the state of South Dakota as well. So we're just part of a larger puzzle as to getting all of this stuff approved and adopted for Riverview.
Any more questions? Entertain a motion, to pass this resolution.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Get a second?
You'll need to approve the resolution and the agreement both, and have the chairman sign both.
Well, I'll approve, my motion states that I'll approve the resolution
And the agreement.
and the agreement if you want to wrap it together. Unless you need two motions for that.
One motion should be good enough, shouldn't it, Chad?
Yes.
That'll be my motion.
And you still second it?
Yep.
Any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Today's web.
Okay, we can do this, historical society. Next.
Historical. Yesterday with their appropriation request for 2026, it was included, I sent it yesterday, so it wasn't on part of the original board packet. And they're asking for the same amount as they asked for last year. And then they also provided their proposed 2026 budget.
Did everybody go over that?
Yeah, me, I sit on that board. And, just to be clear, you know what I mean, it's been bare bones for a long time, so, we've kind of tried to keep that place open and try to revitalize it and get things going in there, and we're starting to do different things. Just to be able to backfill some of the needs and, and the desire to keep, it alive and well in service to the great town as a whole and the State Historical Society. And we work with them diligently, so I think this is a very good, mechanism for tax dollars. And I think we can, our flashlight and Edgerton Museum and things like that, it's been a good draw for kids. Last year we had 95 people to show up for that evening. So that's about what wrapped up into that budget and what we're doing there, so. If you're looking for, we're gonna talk about this, in our preliminary, correct?
Yeah.
So this is just an FYI, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve?
Okay. We're gonna talk about the hunting in the county parks. I've been hunting there since I was a little kid. It's been open for 50 years. And for some reason, there's some resolution that got passed about 9 years ago that we couldn't hunt these. I'd kind of like to know why and if we could get it changed back. there's too many deer out there anyway. And the ATV park and the county park, what we call dam, Pine Ridge Park. Kind of like to have an explanation and kind of like to be able to hunt there again. I've hunted there since I was a kid. My kids have hunted there since they were young. Kind of like, for what reason was it happen?
Well, I don't remember, I remember a few things, Steve, on it, but I do remember when they had when I was sheriff, I think they had a deal there where they said no more hunting, but then like 2 months later, they said, yeah, no, we're gonna amend that to hunt in the ATV park. Okay,
Right,
So I
and
don't
that
know.
was Vernell, who, I talked to about that, and I don't know if any of you were on yet.
No, I was,
Okay, and they got it so we could hunt that park.
correct, because it was closed November first.
Right,
Yeah, and adjacent landowners didn't care, right?
right,
So that was the talk way back when, so that's why
Right.
that was passed. But there was no discussion or anything about, hunting in Pine Ridge Park.
okay, but that was always open for hunting. And for some reason, this resolution got passed. And the reason that the adjacent landowners didn't want anybody else in there because they're hunting the edge of it. And taking it away from the rest of the people. And that's, in my mind, not fair.
You're talking about Pine Ridge Park, now, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
but I'd like to at least get the ATV park back to hunting. And I would like to be able to hunt the Pine Ridge again.
The ATV one is open, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it should be.
Yes, to my knowledge, nothing got changed.
We hunted it last year
Yeah.
and a deputy came and asked us, and the deputy was very nice about it. He said that we had to leave.
At the park.
Yeah,
At
at
the-
the ATV park. And we finished our hunt and I told him we would leave and not come back until this year. So as far as you guys are concerned, we can hunt that.
Well,
Because that was-
my concern is when we talk about the Pine Ridge Park ordinance, it says all county parks are closed to
Yes.
hunting, even though the specific ATV ordinance was amended. So I'm not a lawyer, I don't know if the ATV overrides the Pine Ridge Park saying all are closed,
Any resolution can be changed.
well, they're ordinances, they can be
Yeah.
changed, yep.
I
And
mean,
that, when I read all that last night, I was just confused because, they were saying this for Pine Ridge and this for the ATV park and you can hunt in the ATV park, and then I read what Troy said, that all parks you can't hunt. So I think we should take a look at that. And,
So have you hunted over there, Doug, before, or?
No, I've never hunted either one of them. We hunt over by the ATV park because we have the land we're in control of the land around it, so we don't have to, but it's always been hunted, as my knowledge is that as far as that.
you have a lot of relatives that
Yeah,
have hunted
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We have hunted with them in that. park.
Absolutely, but I seen the deputy come out that day, ask those guys to leave,
Right,
and as far as Pine Ridge goes. You know what, a couple of years ago, you guys all seen what happened in Dale Bloom land, they took the deer carcasses off the rock pickers in the spring.
yes.
Cause there's so many dead ones out there. Well, why not harvest them, That's my opinion.
well, I seen that in 97 too, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were stacked in there like cordwood, they were dead,
yeah.
The snow plows pushed them up on the snowbank,
Exactly.
I don't see, somebody told me, well, it's a safety thing. Maybe in heavily populated areas, but I don't see a safety deal there for people.
Well, we are migrating next year into high powered rifles for hunting around here.
Yeah, is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Now, is that to your guys' decision? Each county can make that decision?
It's for our decision if we decide to go slugs only.
Yeah.
But then the state says that if the county goes that way, then the sheriff has to enforce it, they're not going to. So,
I guess I'm here to support Steve in this because it is public property.
Let me ask you this, Steve, is there, like, when you're hunting in the park or in the ATV park, is there other hunters in there that?
There
where it gets a
has
little-
been,
Where it
yes.
gets a little chippy or?
No, it never gets chippy.
Never,
I have
there's very few.
Anytime we've ever come across anybody in there, we will talk to them and
Yeah.
we'll either leave or they'll leave or else we'll hunt it together. I've never had a dispute in there ever.
Are you posting in there? Are you driving deer through there or?
We do both.
Okay,
Usually the first morning we drive it and then after that we'll post it.
well, if you think about an ATV park and if you think about state land where anybody can hunt, it's the same principle. You gotta be careful.
Absolutely.
So
You're absolutely,
Cause, you know, you gotta wear your orange and you gotta know where, you know, you just gotta be careful.
absolutely, and that is. And anywhere you hunt, that's a concern. I mean, you have to be respectful of other people and other people's land and you gotta watch what you're doing. That's,
So are there any signs or anything out there?
no, not that I have seen.
Well, and it does say in the ordinance too, that it needs to be signed every 400 feet. So I don't know the answer, I just know that it says that and it's not.
But there's not, I mean, there's nothing posted yet, I mean,
Well, no, but it's supposed to be signed every 400 feet that it's closed to public hunting, according to the ordinance.
Well, my main thing is we've been hunting it for 50 years. And now it's changed. And
Well, has
for
it?
guys like us, for me, we're losing hunting ground every year. Land changes hands, groves get taken out, and this is just one more nail in our coffin. And there's too many deer anyway. And there's really no reason we can't hunt that. So.
Well, can I make a suggestion, Mr. Chair?
sure,
Why don't we, this is the current county board, why don't we research this and get this somewhat readable, where you're not confused, you know, and see what we can do.
but we should be able to get it done by this fall, I would think.
Go ahead. You know, that's what I think, because I do think that maybe the park is a little different than the ATV park. Because that's open,
Yeah,
you see, that's not shut down November 1st. Now, if that was shut down November 1st, that would make it different, but those ordinances, if you read them, it's a little confusing.
I wanna be clear on our expectation of a timeline here by fall. This is the last time we're meeting before October, and if we do change an ordinance, we've gotta post it, and so. I'm not saying anything about doing it or not doing it, I just wanna be clear on our timelines here that. To change something by fall, if you're talking November 1st, that's. Or 8th, that's a big push.
Okay, well, let's just say, ATV park then, is it by ordinance, excluded from hunting?
I don't know.
So I think they could ask the county attorney for that,
well,
for some reason though, the deputy went
as
out.
far as the ADV park is going, I know for now, it was discussed here and it was passed that it was huntable.
Yeah, after they closed it down.
Right,
Yeah. 'Cause I
so
remember
that shouldn't have to be,
It clearly
Yeah.
states in here hunting is allowed within the park,
yes,
but only from November 1 through April 1.
okay. And
So,
that's-
So why then did the deputy go out there if he seen that?
Well, I think, like you say, it's confusing. When you read the other ordinance, it says all county parks, and I don't think it was his fault.
No,
I think he was doing by what he read.
well, he's confused just like I was.
Yeah,
And he just read the Pine Ridge Park ordinance.
Right.
Not the amended one for the ATV park, that clearly
Right.
says all parks are closed to hunting.
right,
So if he didn't see the ATV one,
right.
So do we rename the ATV park to ATV training grounds and not call it a park, and then that ship is sailing?
That, whatever
let's
works.
get an
Yeah.
opinion from our attorney of what we actually have, so we know what we're fixing.
But I
Before we
would
try to
also,
fix without knowing what we
Yeah,
have.
that's a good idea.
and if it can't get done this year, maybe by next year we could hunt, Pine Ridge too. I mean, I don't see any reason why not, but I would like to be able to hunt the ADV park this year.
Was that November 1 date gonna be? Its point would be bull hunting, how does that affect?
That's already open.
Yeah,
I understand, but if it says November 1, hunting is hunting.
That is-
declared different.
that is, I don't see where that's an issue. I think that's fair enough. That November 1 is November 1.
Now, there's still activity out there.
That's up to you guys, but I don't see where that's an issue. For us. So as the way it sits right now, we can hunt the ADV part. And after you research it, maybe we'll be able to hunt Pine Ridge. That's what I'm getting out of this meeting.
I'm not saying anything until.
No, I understand that. I'm saying this is what it sounds like.
There's traditionally people late in the fall in Fenway Park, correct?
Yes,
Past freeze up, right?
Yes.
Past deer hunting?
not that late, cause there's no amenities out
And
there.
there's people working in the industry, the beat people, or, you know, that are coming out here, maybe can, I mean, I
I
don't.
guess I've never
Since you
seen,
guys changed the ordinance where they can't be there forever, there's not near as many people.
Right.
Used to.
So they're
settle
gone,
for the
they're
summer.
gone by November 1,
Well, they're
Yes.
out.
traditionally.
yes,
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, so what you're asking, does that conflict with the policy? And so with Troy saying, I think he's asking for a nod, but are we giving him a nod that is against the policy or not?
Well, I think we better talk to Justin first and then
Get him in the room.
on the ATV part for sure. I mean, for this year. I don't know what else to say, I
Yeah,
guess.
like that ordinance said, they can do it, but the other one says, you know, any part, but like Bill's. Suggestion there, I think that's a quick fix if we really want to fix that by renaming it, so.
Well,
But with,
that sounds like a logical thing to do. I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
I have a question. If the park, it said no hunting in the parks. And the county commissioner, back when Vernell was there, said that they made an amendment that you can hunt in the ATV park. Doesn't that take care of it all? Because unless that's been changed back to you can't hunt in that park, hasn't it already been decided? And it's on the books?
so I think you're right, I think
Yes.
that ordinance,
That's my,
but the other ordinance says any park, you see.
yeah, but
That's
you
it.
have the right to override that, according to what he said. And it's on the books that it was overridden already. So I don't see what the problem with that ATV park is.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It was Keith Swanson and I that made the motion in the second to allow that. I don't remember, I think Renell maybe was the chair at the time, and he brought it up.
yes, I believe you're right,
I
because
think, I'm not sure.
I discussed it with him at
Yeah,
a great length.
right.
Me, it just seems reasonable and logical that we should hunt it according to your own paperwork. And nothing against the deputy, he was very nice and he come and talked to me about it. It was all good and great.
But I can see what Troy said there. with
It's
the
very
deputy coming out
confusing.
there. If he read that first ordinance, he could
Absolutely, he
see
wasn't
that. So,
doing anything that he thought was wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm guessing. It's to me, kind of cut and dried. We should hunt it this year and we'll revisit the park, the Pine Ridge at a later date. And talk to your lawyer and see. An ordinance is an ordinance that can be they can always change. I've been on boards too. I know it's not easy what you guys do, but common sense usually dictates what should be done. And this here is just logical and common sense. So, I guess kind of wrap it up. Can we hunt it? Can we not? To me, we should just be able to hunt. And then we'll visit the park if you wanna wait till next year, or if you want to talk to Justin later. And see if we can't get it pushed through for the other park this year. Great and good, but. I'm trying to be reasonable, so I'm trying to be. So. Mr. Chair,
Well, we'll get ahold of Justin just to make sure the ATV, you know what it says,
yep,
and then I'll get back to you.
guess that's the best we can do for right now.
What I would say what we'll do is at the beginning of the next meeting, we'll make a statement of what is and is not open for hunting this year.
Okay,
And if you had to change the name of the park, I think that's a easy solution, a good solution. That was. Makes sense.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the questions with the ATV park is not do with the hunting, but Bill, when you guys are on here and Vernelman guys a number of years back, bonds still get caught in the corners and they were never taken out. And you guys had decided to take them out at that time. They've never been taken out. Bonds still get caught in them.
So the corners of
The two south corners, you know, they come into the park and they get in there, they can't get out the other side.
right,
Ponds get caught in the netting.
Oh, and the wire.
Yeah, in the wire. If each corner was open, you know, that's where animals fall to, is the corners. And that's what you guys had decided to do. And if you give me permission, I'll take them out. I mean, I'll do it right too.
sounds like you gotta come back to the next board meeting.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Doyle, before we move on, I would like an opinion from law enforcement about if it goes like we think it's going to, where Pine Ridge is closed, ATV park is open. Is there any input on changing Pine Ridge Park so that it would be open?
As long as there's never been an incident, I don't see a problem with that with Pine Ridge open. They've been hunting it forever.
I have no opinion one way or another. I know it's always been hunted.
I mean, it's still up to the hunters to be responsible, but there's never been an issue as far
I
as.
think there's a good point for Mr. Combs had to say is that it's been hunted forever. And that's what my point is.
I think, you know, one of the issues, probably one of the biggest issues was the accessing of the, I call it like the island out there in Pine Ridge, right? Where all the pines are at.
Yeah.
And it's such a narrow, area to walk to on the county owned property versus private property to the south. And I think probably what sparked all this was, potential the trespassing on a private land to gain access to county property.
And I think you're right, but the thing is I called that landowner and
Yeah.
I've gotten permission to go across that.
Well, landowner versus somebody that hunts the land,
Exactly, you hit it on the head.
totally different. So that's what I think sparked all of it.
Yes.
If
You're
there had been a potential, you know, trespass issue, stepping on private property versus county, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation and the parks would still continue to be hunted.
If you could just clean up the language, so we don't have any question.
Right, right now, nobody knows. Yep.
Cause I think the DNR was also involved, I remember the call last year.
So, Mr. Chair, November 1 to December 1 for hunting?
November 1 to April 1.
Right,
That's what the state's here.
right, but you're closing the park, that takes away fishing, that takes away a lot of different things. If you close it from November 1 to December 1, there's nobody fishing out there at that moment, more than likely, close it for hunting for 30 days. For the firearm season. And just a question.
So is anybody coyote hunt out there in the Pine Ridge Park?
And then you got
Nobody-
bow hunting too, you know.
Right, yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
just trying to figure out a solution.
Coyote hunting, I don't do that. So I guess I can't answer that.
So I got a question. Mr. Olson. You referenced the fence in the corners. And you made an offer, what narrative will change between now and the next meeting? Someone's offered to do something that's a benefit, why don't we just have them do it, or what will it be different
Basically, what I would do is I'd cut out the posts are roughly 8 feet apart. I'd cut out 8 feet of fence on each side, strengthen, so it's a corner post like they're supposed to be. And there'd be an 8-foot section on each side that would be open, on each corner.
So is there a reason not to just grant them that and over?
Well, what I would like to see before saying yes, do that is have them talk to highways, kind of always taking care of our parks to make sure they're on board with the plan so that we don't have it done. Next meeting, we're talking about, well, okay, well, we have to go back and do this. And so if highway comes back and says, yeah, let's do that. Okay, then let's do that.
Okay, Don?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Glad you're not here with me. Hi, mine's pretty quick and easy and simple. Nothing to this game, Bill, just follow my lead.
10 minutes, it says, right?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't even take that long, so I guess I got first of all, my question to the board, before we continue any further with the building project we're talking about for the Grant County Fair, is everybody in, how do you say it? Is everybody in favor of the building? Do I have to talk any more narrative on the need for the building down there? Besides budget, besides money, just, are you guys in favor of the building, understanding the need for the building, I guess? That's where I wanna start it, cause if I need to come up with some more, pictures or any more information for you guys, I wanna know that stuff as well, but. Is there any-
Anybody that's been down there to the fair knows that the pavilion needs to go. If not, go down and look.
Right.
So, that's my opinion on it.
Well, the Ag Association Fair Board has made the decision to take the building down this fall, just due to safety. So no matter what happens, it's gonna be a gravel pad this fall yet, as long as everything goes as planned. Before freeze up, hopefully, it'll be a gravel pad. No matter what happens, just that's how concerning the building is to us. We just don't think that it's a thing we need to have for a liability portion of it. I did get a few bids. That was just out of due diligence to show that we're not throwing numbers out of the air. The bids, you got a couple bids. I do have another one that came in. I had to have stuff in before the deadline I gave the bidder. The one bid is just for building erected from Odyssey. That's no concrete. The concrete bid was 65,000 and change. Hoffman was a full concrete erected building. And Grant County Lumber is out in 3 different bids: concrete, the builder, and the materials. They're all within about $10,000 of each other, if you do it that way. We would stay in Grant County. Odyssey was just, they bid it at some point. We keeping everybody honest, but we would use the Grant County entities. The reason we did not go out of that, it was simple and faster to do the electrical, plumbing. Dirt work was a little easier, but the electrical and plumbing was just timeline, getting stuff back for this purpose. However, as $275,000 for the concrete, roughly. Concrete building erected is where we're at. That leaves us to 25-ish to get plumbing. We got permits to pull for plumbing, electrical, dirt work, and the incidentals. So I guess the number, I just want to be clear that the number, just because the bids that are coming in aren't completed building, that is the easiest way I could show the structure to make that known. Now, I know the need around the county. I'm a taxpayer in the county as well. Around the county for other entities need money out of the same budget that we're going for as well. We did put together a plan with our committee. The building is very important to the fairgrounds, and it's more important than anything else at this time. That structure is.
we have on the docket, what did we call it? The money that we're asking for increase from 25 to, what was the increase, 50?
Yeah, the appropriation amount.
Appropriation amount. If that is a part of the budget hang-up, we could stay at $25,000 this year. But revisit that conversation for capital improvements, because if you walk around the fairgrounds, I could show you a list of 100 items that we would need to fix, paint, and do that stuff. So it is still a need for the county fairgrounds. However, if that is one part that is hanging up, we can sacrifice that to the building appropriation for this year. Now, next year, you're gonna see me again and the year after to try to keep that fairgrounds rocking. But right now, that's a huge need for us. So I'm trying to figure out the best ways. We did talk about bonding. Bonding is always an option, but it's gonna cost more money to the taxpayer. It's gonna have more interest paid. I mean, there's just a lot more expense, and then the timeline gets stretched out due to engineering and all the stuff we have to go through for the state funded money. So our best option from the committee was at this time it was anything in the reserves or unallocated tax dollars. So from our side, we just thought we'd come up with a couple options. We've discussed a few other different things. The building would be put into place for tieback on the inside, so it could be at some point if the building was ever needed for future for highway department, ambulance service, something that we would need to insulate it and do that, we could do it. But at this time, it'd be phase one. It would be this building as it is that we've introduced to you guys.
So question, Scott, so we visited the other day, you mentioned that, the addition, the smaller, 20 by 100, whatever.
Mhm.
And you mentioned stainless steel, so what's your vision as far as, are you talking a full kitchen, are you just talking wash stand, what's your vision on that?
Sure.
Piece, and what would be in it, and how would you propose to use it?
So right now, the front part where the fire department has their stand, we have to have some stainless steel. It still has to meet code for the 4 days of the health inspector, but it would not be a full licensed kitchen. But the stainless steel would be taken out of that one and reused, repurposed. But 3-bay sink is basically what would be in there. That's kind of has to be around any food right now. So that would be the only thing really that's in there that's outside of just prep areas and coolers. So there would be proposed ADA, if the budget allows, an ADA bathroom in there, as long as we're bringing sewer and water into it. Put that in the building, just a one stall, so somebody could go in with a wheelchair and use a restroom in there. We have the other bathrooms, but as long as we're bringing sewer and water and the budget allows. The other thing would be, we'd probably put a liner, if the budget allows, on the inside of the roof, a ceiling, so that the birds and debris and it helps keep it a lot cleaner.
And tie back on the wall to keep the bug or
Yes.
bugs out too.
So that would be the way we're trying to plan for the future, and for the food industry side of things, you don't want the birds and the stuff in there, so if we can help it.
And the size of that would be how much?
The main part is 104 by 60. The front part is 20 by 30. There's 2 of those that are under roof. That would basically what's there now for the fire department. We'd mirror it to the other side for the Lions Club to use.
And there's 2 20 by 30.
Correct. And then there's actually 3 on the north side of the building. You guys have a picture of it from that old deal? Yeah.
Only shows 1.
Okay, there's I can show, I got a really terrible picture of it. Marked all over here. This is that. So here's what I'm talking about. This is fire department Lions Club. This one over here would be for on the north side, would have a door in it for the Legion, has the beer garden. We would move them into the building as well. So we'd incorporate 3 organizations instead of just 1 right now into the building. So
the building sit east and west or north and south?
it would be east and west, the long part, just like it is now.
No direction, cause it's all crooked.
Yeah, right. But it would be in the same location it sits right now. It's same footprint. It'd be a little larger with those additions, but the purpose of that is to, anytime it rains or inclement weather, the only people that can serve both sides are the fire department. This would give them, other 2 organizations, the opportunity to serve on the inside. If there was rain event on a Friday night, the band could move inside this building and all three organizations are gonna take advantage. If it's raining, everybody's in the pavilion, them two organizations lose out, so. The kids stuff, I mean, there, I could go on and on to sell you the building, but it comes down to that. So. As quick as I can be.
You're talking 6 inches concrete slab, right? Not 4.
Yeah, they,
4 or something.
they got 4 on, Hoffman's was 4, the others were 6.
Right.
Rebar, just to make sure the storage, if you get a motorhome or get something a little larger, we're not gonna put fully loaded semis in there, and we're not bringing in large items. I mean, we keep the doors small enough, it won't do that, but
Right.
yeah, we need opportunity as well, so, yep. We don't wanna bust it up right away. Yep, correct.
And you did state, we talked yesterday, that there is a 2-inch water supply system and.
There is, correct, yep.
And 6-inch PVC.
Sewer water is through the building already. There's
Like a
water.
6-inch sewer.
I'm almost positive the city never got back to me on what's to it,
Okay.
but yeah, it is plastic. It was updated back when they did the sewer and water system, so. But, yeah, and we're working through it, and again, I'm at, $500,000 is what we're asking for. That will get this building built. I will get it built for that. I'm asking you guys for a budget. If it's not 5, give us a budget, give us something to work with so that we can move forward with a plan. The building's coming down and we have to do something. So that's my pitch.
Well, it's certainly a safety concern.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
beyond that, is what it is.
and that's what we've decided. It can't stay in its place. It's done its part for 350,000 years or whatever it's been there, but it's
How
time.
many?
350,000, give or take. Have you seen
I
it?
remember when they built it.
You are that old. I told you. So if you guys have any questions, I believe you guys got my number, can get it from Tina. Any additional questions, want to see the building, we're an open book. We have an updated profit loss statement, any of that stuff, I can give you that. So,
One question I did have last time was, what is the day that says we don't know by this day it isn't being done for 2026?
great question. With the building getting decided since the last time coming down and the pad being available to put poles in the next day, makes it a little easier. The timeline I gave the builders was, we need it up by July 1st, open key, it's our building, July 1. All of them have said they can get that done. Now, that being said, if we come to them in April, that's not happening.
Right.
We're gonna wanna get on their books by the first of the year, I would say.
Okay.
It's on their radar and they know what we're going through with the budget, so they're aware of how this is gonna play out. They can't guarantee anything as well as, until we figure out what we're gonna do. But as soon as that were to happen, that's why we're trying to do everything we can in front with the bidding of all this stuff, getting prepared. So that when we have that budget, we can pull the trigger and go as soon as possible. It'd be ideally before frost, get the poles in the ground. Then the building can go up rather quickly in the winter time or whenever that would be, so.
The bid's good for more than 30 days or not?
30 days is what they all have on them, but again, talking to Jason and John over in Hoffman, they're at the understanding of what we're doing here. I mean, they're covering their.
15 days, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay. But we've had the conversation of what we're doing here, so they know we're waiting basically for a budget, so. We're just doing our due diligence so that we can move quickly when we need to, so.
So Libby, when you're, go ahead.
So. I don't think there's any question that something needs to be done. But I also think, once again, we have an opportunity and that opportunity, I think, may be missed if we take $500,000 out of our reserves. And the opportunity will be, that I think, will be that we offer the people in the county through fundraising, so they got some equity in this building. I won't say just, but I'll use that word. If we just fund it, not sure it's the right thing to do. And I guess. Sure. I think there may be some options. And I would challenge maybe your group to look at the potential maybe the front part of the building, the 20 or 30 by 60, maybe that gets built first. And then you have a tent, we talked about a tent. And
Sure.
you can rent a pretty good sized tent for less than $10,000. Maybe we help with that. I don't think we should take $500,000 of Grant County reserve for that building. And I think we should challenge your group to, we've seen what can happen in Herman.
Sure.
It's a pretty supportive, not doesn't mean it's gonna be Herman.
Right.
Grant County Fair, remember that. I understand that. So the opportunity is out there in a larger,
Right.
but I think maybe.
I would agree with you. What I would tell you is we have, 70, I just wrote it down, $70,000. 76,641 in loans on the 2 new buildings that we put up, and we've been fundraising on those for 5 years. It comes in very slowly, it comes in at times, and the ag industry is the #1 supporter in this county for funds, whether it's Ag Bash, whether it's, I mean, we can try to deny that, but it is, and right now that is a tough ask for funds. And I am very willing to do that, and I agree with you. The county having stake in this project is huge, because they're gonna come and use it, they're gonna be at the fair more. So I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. I would tell you that we are fundraising 365 days a year as volunteers, so. And we will continue to after this as well, so, yes.
I got something to say, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I am in support of your building. You know, I always look at history, you know. And 120, 130 years ago, or whenever it was, Double Lake got the courthouse, Herman got the fair. That's what I've always been told in the 40 years I worked for Grant County. The fair, Herman got the fair, Double Lake got the courthouse, okay? So I feel that we should support the fair, because you guys have done a heck of a job. I mean, I remember when I first started here 40 years ago, I didn't think that this was gonna keep going, okay? But, so I think we should support you somehow, to maintain what you guys have built down there.
Sure.
Cause it is the Grant County Fair, like Todd said, it's the Grant County Fair. It's the whole county. So Double Lake got the courthouse, Herman got the fair. And that was 100 years ago or whatever. So that's how I see it.
Sure.
So
I got something to say, Mr. Chair, you done?
Yeah.
Okay. When I got on the board, I could tell I went down there and kind of looked the place over a little bit, and it was nothing but a mud hole. There was water standing in mud holes here and there, and you guys needed gravel big time to be able to, you know, just dress the place up a little bit.
Mhm.
So it was come to the conclusion, you know, when we talked about it, when a county truck, instead of going back empty, back to, you know, to the shop there, bring a load of gravel and dump it in the yard there. And Bernal was looking for like, I don't know, 20, 30 yards or something like that. Well, it ended up now, you know what I mean? It's got you to where you needed to be.
Sure.
Right? And your concrete, you know, or sidewalks and things like that got put in, you know what I mean? That was through your appropriations and things like that, where you got that done.
Mhm.
Okay, now, the next step is that bathroom needed to be addressed, and you guys, that's, so we added in a little bit more money so you could make the payment on that, but did that bathroom enhance the fair just because we went to that next step?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, well, here's the next step now, in
Well,
my opinion.
And I would tell you that, I don't have an exact dollar figure, but the building we just built was $150,000. The bathroom was about $125,000. The concrete and electrical upgrades from the transformers to everything else were well over $300,000 that we've funded as the Grant County Fair Board. We haven't asked for any additional funds outside of, I think we went from 8 or 10,000 to 25,000 a few years ago to help us with that bathroom. That's what we've asked for over the last 5 years with these upgrades. So we've put a lot of fundraising dollars and time into that on our own. And we're running out of resources to build such a large building, and to upgrade the buildings there is just to paint them is a couple $1,000 to paint some of these buildings. So we're trying to get to a spot where we don't have to have where they're steel buildings, we're not painting every 3 years, we're not spending these monies. And it does solidify the fairgrounds for a long time. So,
People come to places like that that are well run. And they enjoy it while they're there, and, you know, it's all about kids and things like that, you know, so, and I don't know, have you guys ever targeted like these bouncy houses and things like that, you know what I mean, for a certain day and thing, you know? Just like what happened yesterday or last night.
Right.
You know, there was more people in Herman than I've ever seen, you know, at school. You know, so things like that, you get families together, you know what I mean, I think it's a great thing.
yep, absolutely.
So it's just the next step, before a windstorm comes through and that building is plumb full of people and it's pouring outside. And we ended up, you know, the building gets tipped over and they're laying inside there.
Yep.
That would give all of us a black eye, in my opinion.
That's why it's gotta come down. That's why we're gonna take it down before something does
The
happen.
walls are like this and it's got a little bit of a tip to it, so it wouldn't take much of a windstorm.
Right.
Or, you know, some type of a, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying, like, it's time.
Yeah.
If somebody gets hurt.
Mr. Chair. Back to the comment on the need and the support, but let's hear from the Budget and Finance Committee and what their vision is of taking $500,000 out of our reserves. And looking forward on kind of what this county's looking at. We have some potential funds coming in. We can make some adjustments possibly in the future.
Well, and Bill, I don't know if anybody else from the budget committee's online, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the opinion of that committee was bonding was not a good idea. It's gonna cost you a large amount of money to borrow $500,000. Could the budget currently, or the reserves currently afford it? The opinion was yes. The question is, do we stock that amount, or do we just take it out there? And again, that's not a budget committee recommendation or opinion either way. That was the question that came out of there. So that's, I believe that's what the budget committee's.
Yep. That's what I heard.
Was, I mean, that, there's no recommendation, there's no, I mean, that's the statement, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong in that.
Well, there's about, it helped me out, I can get kind of a guideline on what you want in reserves in relation to your total operating expense. And maybe Chad, I don't know if he's online, but I mean, is it 60% of?
I believe it's 5 to 7 months, so you wanna be about 50% of your. So it would not, that in and of itself would not necessarily push us under that, where the audit would say you're too low on reserves. Now, when I say that in and of itself, we still got 3 months of this year that could change things, and so and talked to you yesterday, my concern is your biggest donors and benefactors are also our biggest taxpayers, right? And if the economic times there are really hard, does it really matter if it comes to build up a building through donations, or, I mean, it's still the same.
Right on.
Pot of money.
Well understood, and I've tried to communicate with a lot of those people around the county and ask what support there is to this. I'm a taxpayer as well in this county. I'm very well aware of what that looks like, and as a fair board, we do not need picketers outside the front gates because we did this, right? So we're doing our due diligence as well, asking whatever, and to me, it's been very, very highly supported with some larger landowners. Beats are going on today, so a few of the people that wanted to come with, but we're busy in the field, so it's just how the facts go. But I agree with you, we're very conscious of that. Half the board farms, you know, so we're there understanding that as well.
And without Ag Bash, we would have been here a long time ago.
Egg bash, the fair don't happen. Just, there won't be any activities there.
You say that again and again.
Yeah, so, absolutely. So. Any other things come up, please give me a call. we're open book, I'll give you anything you need, so.
Well, where do we go from here? What's our next move?
Give me a budget.
Well, that's what we gotta come up with, so.
Please, thank you, appreciate the time.
Yep.
Thank you.
You know, we have to approve grant applications.
Good morning again. All right, so, we are here to, bring back the two tabled applications, that were submitted to the Grant County Opioid Task Force. It is the wellness program, both are by the sheriff's office, the wellness program for $7,820. And then the physical fitness program through wellness policy at $10,650. Just to clarify as well, who has seen this prior, and that has been the Grant County Opioid Task Force. They did meet and discuss all of them, and both of these did have lots of comments and discussion on, but these both did pass unanimously to approve through those through that task force. And Commissioner Chair, you can just let me know if you have any specific questions.
I will make the motion to approve both of the wellness and physical fitness programs.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, what?
I have something to say.
Okay.
I guess I probably said it in the work session, but I don't think. Because like I said, I think, looks like you've put a lot of work into this application and appreciate that, and I think that. Can't question the need and importance of wellness and. But I do feel that. We are doubling up or tripling up on employee assistance. We have opportunities in this county, and I think we're some of the opportunities. I think utilizing our wellness committee and making this part of a larger group would be better. And so I think looking forward, we should look at those opportunities, but I want to commend you for what you've done in this particular application.
Thank you.
And in your motion, Troy, it's 25 and 26, right? Correct?
Yes.
To fund them as proposed. Yes.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thanks so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Okay, clerk's office?
We'll wait for them to come back. You know, where the things be down there pretty good, number.
Concerned yesterday, I think.
What if the wind?
The headlines look good. I mean, for dryness,
Mhm.
I think you get west stones that wet. You know, compared to that old Ford and all summer, was.
What's that?
You know, hook a trailer in that old Ford and Olson Beach or what?
I could. Just take the topper off. Yeah, I got my 1 ton for it too, I can do that.
Well, them dump boxes.
Actually, you don't even need to take, the top off. You can get more in that way.
That's
Bunch of
right.
old tops.
Yeah, I think that would work.
They come out of their full bore, they probably would poke a hole on top.
Well, I know that was, Roger. Just. Okay. That be. You can. It's nice that everybody actually.
Well, that's what you would want.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's that piece.
Good morning.
Morning.
So today we are here to propose a critical investment in public safety technology. This investment involves upgrading to Axon's suite of equipment, including. Did you want to start with this, or do we want to start with the other things? Oh, no, we ain't got the other song, which is dangerous dogs.
Right.
Should we just do that first?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think today we wanted to come to the board, first to look at the mileage fees. Currently, we have our own table for setting the mileage fees for civil process. We are hoping we can just make it easier for admin, just to follow the IRS rate for mileage and fees.
That was a discussion we had at our last public safety committee meeting, as far as some fees, the fee schedule accordingly. And move ahead with the IRS fee instead of setting it per gas prices, depending on the area. It'd be a much simpler for our staff when it comes to figuring fees.
I will make the motion for the sheriff's office to follow the IRS mileage rate.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. And then the second, was kind of like, in a sense, unbeknownst to us, in looking at another ordinance from another, neighboring county, was a fee that is being charged for, persons that do have dogs that have been declared dangerous. And, per state statute, actually, the county can charge up to $500 annually for these persons to continue to keep those dangerous dogs. And so our obviously request to the board too is would the board be willing to accept charging that fee as well to those that have dangerous dogs within Grant County.
That 500 is what's in statute,
Mhm.
it's allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, allowed per statute.
And in your packet is the state statute.
Yep.
Yep.
And we had further discussion with Justin as well about it, and he said, yeah, it's per statute, so we can do that.
So I think we talked about adding it to the fee schedule, so I would make a motion to add the dangerous dog to our county's fee schedule at $500.
I'll second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion and a second, any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Good, thank you.
We're also asking for a credit card for our LSA 911 coordinator. He is gonna start going to trainings for becoming his position, and he needs a credit card to be able to do that.
It's $1,000.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second for credit card request, any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Is there a form?
For the credit card, that comes from Jamie, so I'll let you know that the meeting, Michelle.
Okay.
But it's fine.
Okay. Yes, so we're back here, with the proposed to, a critical investment in public safety. This investment involves upgrading to Axon's suite of equipment, including the TASER 10s, body worn cameras, fleet cameras, and the integrated evidence.com system. This is not a luxury, it's a necessity to ensure our officers have the best tools to protect our community and increase transparency in every encounter. The mission of the Grant County Sheriff's Office is to provide a safe and crime-free atmosphere, and is the goal to protect public and their property. We believe with this updated equipment, we can effectively and efficiently uphold our mission statements. Many of our devices are outdated and reaching the end of their service life, and technology is falling behind. Like, if you buy something new today, it's already behind tomorrow. This poses a safety risk to both our officers and the public. With outdated tools, officers may lack most effective options for de-escalation, which is not only dangerous, but also results in increased liability for the county. Furthermore, in an era where the public trust is paramount, our reliance on older equipment or the ability to provide comprehensive transparency that our community expects and deserves. So our solution is with the Axon system, and I believe we've gone over and over again of what Axon can offer us. There's a lot of great tools that are gonna make us more effective and efficient. So then it comes down to the bundled, to the financials. Axon has done a great job of bundling the whole project, which becomes more cost effective. It provides substantial long-term value compared to purchasing the individual components separately. This multi-year contract allows us to budget the annual cost proactively in the future fiscal years, avoiding sudden large capital expenses, which aligns with our responsible physical planning. We believe we've chosen a product that shows longevity. And the sheriff and I have spoke with the auditor, and we've produced the spreadsheet which is attached in your packet. And if you want to go through this, we can go through this at this time. So the total amount for the Axon 10-year contract is $815,866. Back in July, or before July 1st, it was a little bit cheaper, but with the rising cost of equipment and AI did go up. So that reflects the new amount. The Bureau of Justice grant that we applied for and we received, it's a $22,000. The sheriff has agreed to use the traffic diversion funds. So that's in the amount of $26,156. And the sheriff has also agreed to use the public safety, funds, yep. And in excess of $60,000. So that's bringing the bill down to, that adds up to $108,156. So our total amount would be $707,710. So we have asked, after talking with the Public Safety Committee, and meeting with them multiple times, they suggested that maybe we have Axon lay out a semi-annual payment plan or an annual payment plan. So if it was the annual payment plan, it would be $78,634 going forward. And this is in our preliminary budget that you guys have all seen. That we have an Axon line, and so we looked through our budget when John and I went through it, and we did find some cost savings. The annual cost savings, the first one is WatchGuard, which is $22,814. The average server and replacement software upgrade would be $8,222. And then individually paying TASER cartridges, which would be in the amount of $740. So when you add all those up, the cost savings, that would be $31,776, bringing down the annual net cost with Axon contract would be $46,858. I'm gonna talk about.
Yeah, something else I just haven't do. Well, other items that we take into consideration, without the Axon contract is, as we have talked before, currently with our WatchGuard server, one of which that I just had replaced last year, we had spent $22,000 on that. In talking with MEI, if we look at upgrading equipment, as we all know with the technology world, would be replacing a server roughly every 3 to 5 years, for that purpose. Now, I know it's 3 to 5, we took it, basically a 3-year average. And again, just assuming what the cost was last year, keeping it at that $22,000. So over that 3-year period, over that period of time, 10 years, we would be looking at $66,000 to replace just the alone. Our recent software upgrade with our WatchGuard camera system, we moved to an EL5 platform versus an EL4. That upgrade in itself was $8,000. Now, Motorola currently owns WatchGuard, and the direction that Motorola is moving, we are almost guaranteed to see another software upgrade. I can't specifically put a date on it, but as you know, we're gonna see an increase and we're gonna see another $8,000 at minimum. So, it's $72,000 total, that we would be looking at there, that we would be paying or working into our budget or coming to the board asking for those contributions years down the road here. I think there was an ask of separating out each one of the three between the TASER, the body worn camera, and the fleet cameras or the squad cameras. And if we started looking at those individually, TASER upgrades, replacements, only option is this Axon bundle. Just the TASERs alone would be $136,000. The M-Squad cameras, which we're only looking at 9 of them, would be $251,000. So, that cost alone, $387,000, just for those two things. Whereas in a bundled type situation, our costs significantly are decreased. Now, if you remember correctly, and I know it's been brought up, what was our cost for this project back in June 17th? prior to the, increase in the AI package. That question was asked at the last board meeting. And, you know, that cost was $759,089.80 to be exact. So now we see the increase, because of the AI bundle of that $56,776. So, yeah, understandably, you know, there needed to be more research into this, answers, to questions, things like that. But we've, I think we've done all that we can, Jen more than I, when it comes to trying to figure it out how we can make this work. We've picked apart our budget. There's, as we had indicated at the last public safety committee meeting, we were able to cut back. A lot of the biggest cutbacks came out of our jail budget. We were able to cut back on that, and I think overall, and I don't quote me on this, I'd have to get the exact number from Chad, but I think we were able to cut about $30,000 out of our annual budget just to try to get this to work as well and justify it. So, so our 2025 net levy is $1,694,152. If we're looking at the $46,858 as far as our annual offset, yeah, we're at 2.77%.
I got a question, John. So you're capturing the watch guard and server software upgrade about $31,000. I'm looking at your budget and it was 21,000 for computer fund allocation, and now you've got 39,000. So you're telling us you're saving 31 and you're actually going up 19. Help me out with that math.
Yeah, so when we were talking about our computer funds, and you know, generally, all we look at, again, utilizing what 911 funds we can, when it comes to a lot of our computer equipment specifically for dispatch. So we eliminate, in a sense, the county cost, okay? The one thing that 911's funds do not pay for are our squad computers, okay? And let's see, like another computer of Tina's, for example, if that goes bad. And so looking at age of where we're currently at on our laptop computers for our squads, yeah, we increased because we know that we're gonna end up with a replacement of those coming soon. We've got 23, 11, so 14, 15 laptops that will need replacement over the next few years. So the increase there, I just figured that it'd be, and again, in working with the auditor's office as far as what are we gonna put for computer replacement, computer funds, we did increase that a little bit. Now, not saying that we still couldn't work on that a little bit more too.
Well, and what I'm getting at is it's 19 more and you're quoting us a $30,000 savings. Well, that's $49,000.
Well, a watch guard is separate from the computer fund. The computer fund is the county gets a budget and then it's broke out by per person.
I was looking for watch guard in the TASER line items and I can't find that.
Yeah, that would fall under our equipment.
So what we did is we really reorganized our titles.
Okay, so where would then they be then if it was up to 24 and 25 columns?
Very good.
Maybe. Yeah, that's that.
That's the what?
That's 624.
Yeah, where's the newest one?
I believe we put it under the professional services.
The supplies and equipment deputy, that went up from 6 to 20. I just, it doesn't feel like the math is coming up.
Right, so. I understand what you're saying, Ken. But we'd have to, I guess, sit down and say, okay, we went from. Just trying to think of a line item like, repair and maintenance, okay? We're gonna use that one as an example. We went from repair and maintenance and looked at everything that was coming in and getting paid out of that line, okay, is repair and maintenance, and said, well, wait a minute. Should gas have come out of that? Probably not. Or should have this repair come out of it? Probably shouldn't have. So we restructured everything when it comes to a lot of those individual line items, saying that, you know, bring one up that you have a question about again, just as an example.
Well, on your spreadsheet, you had 3 items that was $31,776 that you told us was gonna be reduction. And I'm just saying, I understand that, but I can't see it in the budget, and so I'm just trying to tie the two together.
Well, we did the whole. So with the 1.694. You know, minus the 46, it's a 2.7 increase, and that's including Axon's equipment. So what we did is we really spent a lot of time with Chad, and we restructured and reorganized some of the line items just so it made sense, and it would be easier to be able to take, like, gas is there, it has its own line item now. Equipment, like officer equipment, such as flashlights or whatever it be. And then we have a line item for Axon. So as a whole, we reduced.
I get that,
Yeah.
it's just that I'm looking at the computer fund. Went up 18,000 and the supplies went up 14.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's in there,
Yeah, and the
Just-
computer fund, a lot of that's gonna be MEI's bill.
But if we book the savings on one spreadsheet, it should tie in some on the other. And this is an annual savings you saved us.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's not just a one-time deal.
Nope, it's annual.
You're saying this is annual.
Yep.
Correct, yeah. That what we had presented with this 74,000, right? That's an annual.
But we're not even taking that into effect. That's just more items for you to know that there's gonna be more.
Well, look, it's a $74,000 savings. If you're gonna break it down annually, it's $8,222.
So when the annual net cost of the contract, the 46,858. Is what you're telling us, it's just not necessarily, can't find it in the budget, is what you're saying.
As a whole,
As a
yes,
whole.
yeah.
Okay.
If you also have any other questions about Axon, I do have Jonah online. He and his team members.
So the 634 it's 80, the 80 some thousand that's in the budget, is that the difference of the annual payments?
Say that again? No?
Yeah.
So they've got 83,166, is that
That's a semi-annual, right?
that's what? The semi-annual.
So-
That would be the semi-annual.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the semi-annual would be 41,582, like August of 26, and then in January 27 would be another $41,582. And you should have these in your packet as well. One is annual, one is semi-annual.
But correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the annual payment in the big scheme of things cheaper than making two payments?
Well,
It all comes out at the end.
It all comes out
Last year,
the
there's
same.
only one if you do two, so it,
It all comes out the same in the end.
It's
It's
the
just
same, yeah.
what's better for the county.
He nodded his head.
it's
There's some interest in
each,
there.
each year it is, it's just like you said, the final year is more.
The payment
is different. The total amount of payments at the end of the day is the same.
Oh, yes.
Right.
It's just when you're paying it.
Yeah.
It's a timing thing.
Yeah.
Put it
And
on ad.
Troy suggested that on the,
Right,
just, would it make it the easier for the county?
yeah.
That is when money is gonna be. That's all. It was not to be complicated. So, we are recommending and requesting that the board approve the authorization of a 10-year contract with Axon for the sheriff's bundle, with the annual cost to be included in the basic budget of the Grant County Sheriff's Office, as it is a necessary line item in our budget.
So any discussion with Axon, what's your vision as far as the administration of this program? And who's gonna be responsible for that?
Surely John and I would be responsible for, rolling it out, but there is, Axon does a very good job of rolling it out in, and they provide training to everybody. So,
They do the training, they do the installation, cause we would have the swap out from old system on WatchGuard to new system on Axon. That's again all part of the package. If the offer still stands, there's reimbursement from Axon for our latest schooling and training that we sent one of our deputies to as a TASER instructor.
and that is included.
They would reimburse us for that training. We've always been with a consortium up in Otter Tail County for a lot of our trainings. That's kind of going on the wayside, so I guess you could see we'll save, it's about $1,900 annually. That we won't be paying Otter Tail anymore. I guess that's a cost that we should have figured into this. That's another two of the biggest trainings that we've always sent our deputies to are use of force and TASER. Now that we have our own instructors, that stays here in the county, and it's a lot more, it's more beneficial to us because of scheduling. All the training takes place right here in Elba Lake or down in Barrett. And we're not paying deputies another 2 hours of overtime for driving up to Otter Tail for these specific trainings. So we're keeping it all in-house. So in the long run, there is, there would be an additional cost savings on that when it comes to some of those specific trainings.
Their recommendation, Mr. Chair, coming out of the Public Safety Committee?
I don't know that there is. I'm against, there's $815,000. I get it's over 10 years. We don't know what our budget in 26, 27 will play. We just put $730,000 a year into a building that we were told was gonna resolve everything. And now here we are, not even a year later.
Well, I don't think a new building resolves IT or technical issues moving into the future. You're always gonna have that. You're gonna always have upgrades in technology, so a new building that doesn't do that automatically. I mean, there's always gonna be new stuff coming in that we will need. And, our county attorney certainly needs this. He's expressed that to us, and, the law enforcement world, unless you have equipment that can help you prove cases, sometimes they don't get proven. And, so I fully support this. This is a badly needed upgrade for law enforcement and public safety in this county. And, you know, no new building is ever gonna keep up with technology. Okay, just isn't. We have to keep up with technology. So this is a badly needed, item that we need.
Did we hear anything from Evelyn yet?
Well, you talked to Jeff yesterday, I talked to him last week, and they were looking for a contract, we don't have a rewritten one yet, but they did get. I did last week give them the formula of how we got to the breakdown, and when you talked to Jeff, he said he understood how we got there.
Yep.
And it is current, or as we sit here today, it's in their, that amount is in their budget, preliminary budget.
That's what I was.
Yep, yep.
But they wanted to see you guys' budget, right?
They wanted to see that, and then they wanted to see the contract,
And they got,
and they.
So what I gave him was the actual expenses from 24. Yep, and I don't know if it had some estimates for 25 or not, but it was the actual expenses that we used for creating that formula.
Yeah.
okay.
So they wanted that, and then they also wanted the contract in hand. And I said, well, we don't have that, and we didn't know that they needed it to be able to.
Yeah, and that's for Justin to draft.
Yep.
That's beyond anything that I would do at this point with the new contract.
Just one now. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, but he did say it is in his. It's in his preliminary budget. I know this is a lot of money, and I think we've strategically placed it in our budget, and moving forward, it will, we always need equipment. You know, and this is a critical tools on our belts that we need, and these are all upgrade. They need to be upgraded. I can't even tell you how old my teaser is right now, and I'm embarrassed to tell you. I'm just saying that it is part of our fundamental duties to have these tools.
I did a little bit of what Troy said, I still, and I suppose we're gonna go through the preliminary budget later, but there's, to me, and I don't know that I received the answer, that's about $32,000 that we're booking as savings, but it's not reflected in the budget. You're going to $39,000 for computers, and you're going to 20 on them supplies, and from 6. So they added $14,000 to your supplies and equipment budget, and you added 18 to your computers. But you're telling us there's a $46,000 savings on an ongoing basis if the math doesn't come out, and it ties into a little bit what Roy's saying. I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the program.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that with
The numbers are there.
with Axon, it's a 2.7% increase in our budget.
At some point,
2.7.
we're gonna be approving a budget, and whether we get down to the agenda item. So I can ask these questions later, maybe, when we get to that. Whether the answer is different, I don't know.
Well, I think it'd be easier to answer that question. When we have that breakdown, compare old to new. And show you the line items that we maybe took three different areas out of one line item and separated them. And show that savings on how that all went, right?
But I don't think, you didn't reclassify deputy supplies and equipment, did you? But you have
Yeah.
items in it.
We did.
So the 6,000 from the prior 2 years is not accurate?
Excuse me?
The 6,000 that was budgeted for the prior 2 years is not accurate, and you've spent 1,740 this year, and now you want budget 20,000?
Well, we restructured everything.
Probably because of the restructuring in line items, yes.
Some of those line items may have come out, I gotta look at.
Eat for them.
So it might have came out for 2025 and prior, might have come out of, let's just use supplies. I'm talking in general here.
Okay.
We had a line item for supplies, so that might have included office supplies, deputy supplies. Building supply, whatever it is, it was a supply.
Yep.
So now this year, we're gonna say, hey, let's take. And create a line that says deputy supplies. So a portion of the supplies, what used to be supplies. We're gonna take X dollars and put that now towards deputy supplies. Well, there was probably also something that came out of professional services. That was considered in the past a deputy supplier. Well, let's move that there. It's just restructuring. So we know that all deputy type. Supplies and things go to deputy, so we can track it deputy, rather than looking for 2 or 3 different categories. And diving into the account activities, and this was supplies for deputies, this was supplies for the office. So in general, there was restructuring, that's number 1. Or relabeling.
Yeah.
Rebudget. So that what Jen and John, I believe, are getting at, and I joined this conversation late, is if we revert back and pull Axon out of the budget, we also have to add back in 3 things that we took out. WatchGuard, you guys name one. WatchGuard, this and that, the next thing.
Soft guard,
So if we
software.
take the Axon line item of 80, whatever's in the budget, we gotta add lines back in, because we took out like 3 bigger items that we didn't include. So that's where the difference is. Here's, go with this system, it's gonna cost this, but now we don't pay for X, Y, or A, B, and C. So
Here's an
the difference-
example of how you redid it is, you used to have travel and meals for $4,000 budgeted in 25. There's nothing budgeted in 26, but you have travel mileage and travel lodging and meals.
And that was a request of the budget committee.
Right, so, I mean,
That was nothing to do with these guys, that was
Right.
a request of the budget committee.
I mean, that's how the reorganizing got done.
Well, you know,
That, you'll see that in not just their department.
everybody's, cause that was, I know that
If you look at
was,
all the budgets, they're all, there's a lot of retooling and relabeling.
right. And whether good, bad, or otherwise, maybe it made it more confusing. With some of the restructuring, but. You know, for the request, you know, that's what I,
It was,
you know, that's what I can say that we did.
I fully understand, but I also can see, and I can tie the numbers across, there's a difference. And I agree with you, Chad, but if you look at it, there's a huge difference. You're booking the savings, but you're adding it in the budget.
well, savings, we.
Well, they're telling
They
you.
did a budget. We did a budget based on what are the needs if you include Axon.
So, and I
That's
could
what
not,
we did.
I cannot find, I don't know why, but I have a spreadsheet where I went through that budget and I compared all non-wage items year over year. So the overall this year, the increase is $57,000, non-wage benefit. So there was a deduction, if you just took Axon out at $80,000, there was a deduction of just under $30,000, there was. Well, what we're saying is, some of that will have to go back in without the Axon. So there was a decrease, and like I said, I don't know where that spreadsheet I put together went. But there was a decrease of 30,000 before Axon. 25, so it.
You're saying it's
there
okay.
is. What I'm saying is that. Axon is in there for 80, but the actual increase was like 57.
Yeah, that was the.
So I mean, that's.
So what I hear is you don't trust our numbers.
No.
Well, that's the way it sounds to me.
No, but I reserve the right to ask.
No, anyway, you
In
can write that, but you're
5
saying
Yeah.
it doesn't add up means you don't trust it.
Well, if it says, let's just say computer replacement and computer fund allocations, 39,000.
Yeah,
Okay, in the past, it was 21.
yeah,
Now you're telling us
There
we're
was
saving
increases.
$22,000 on WatchGuard.
that's not part of the computer fund.
Okay, where is what I, this, my question
Professional
was,
services.
Where was WatchGuard in the past?
Professional services,
Okay,
but I have to go look it up.
but that's not in here somewhere, professional services.
I don't. know
I don't
where
have the
it's
stuff
going.
in
I
front
have
of
to
us,
look it up.
but all I can
Fees
say
and Services, professional service, it was not, I can tell you it was not in the computer.
with,
Where that payment was made, I don't know, I don't have that information in front of me.
That's why we can't. But all I can say, Ken, is that with Axon put in there and with the cost savings, our budget only increased 2.7%.
I'm gonna go back to what Chad said.
Yep, I know.
If you don't trust the numbers, Ken, all I'm asking, okay, so professional services is not in there. Are you telling me then the 25 and 24 budgets are not accurate?
No.
But then I'm asking, where's WatchGuard?
I don't know where it was coded to.
I don't have the right sheet of this to tell you, but it's in there.
I don't trust the number, but I don't have an answer.
I got something, Mr. Chair.
We'll get you.
Mr. Chair.
I'll get
Go
you.
ahead.
Okay.
Okay, what this all boils down to is a public safety issue. Who's responsible for public safety? We fund it, we're responsible. I would have liked these body worn cameras. I think there's been some good examples the last 2 years in Grant County where there should have probably been some pretty good evidence collected with body worn cameras. You know, this is just my thoughts. I don't know anything about these cases, but I do understand when you come to court, when you have evidence, that's where the county attorney wants this stuff. He wants to have good evidence so he can prosecute or make a decision not to prosecute. This is a public safety issue, and without this, it's not good moving forward. You know, that new sheriff's office building, okay. Does advanced technology come with a sheriff's office building to build? No. It comes with privacy, security, comes with bathrooms, it comes with space. Comes with, nobody can get in there and hurt anybody. That's why that building was built. Now, technical issues or technology moving on into the future, we're always gonna have that. We've got that with this building. We've got it with highway. Where would we be without this building nowadays? Where would we be without that space down at the highway? We'd be in a hurt bag in this county. So this is a public safety issue. It's something that's needed. And I'm not gonna sit here and be against it. Cause I tell you what, things are gonna happen in this county. They have happened. They're gonna happen again. And you need that evidence so you can take that speculation away from defense attorneys and stuff like that. This is what this scene looked like. This is what happened. This is where everything was sitting. This is how people acted. This is how they talked. This is how they looked. And AI, if you can trip that camera to speak a different language and you can communicate with people, why wouldn't you do that? I mean, I don't have to do it anymore, but I'd sure like that tool. If I had to ask somebody out in the street who spoke a different language, what happened here? So it's invaluable. And you can't put a price on that. So I'm for it.
Two things that hasn't come out of any of this discussion, and that's, and Dwight kind of highlighted a little bit, the admissibility of information that goes to the courts. And the efficiency of our county attorney, and he's calling for it, let alone the safety of our employees. Cause it covers our butt with a blanket instead of a washcloth, right? I mean, anytime something is aggravated and things like that, you're trying to gather this information and keep it in your head and try to plug it into a computer later on, you miss things. Well, this would cover that, right? So evidence gathering would get accelerated, correct?
Okay.
And it would, and then the admissibility in courts to take care of any kind of a, issue that maybe Justin might arise that he might kind of want, and some of the information that you guys put in reports and things like that he quizzes you a little bit before he decides to charge, right? This would take care of that as well too, so you're talking efficiency. And when county governments build into efficiencies, it's better for the county as a whole and its employees. So that's why I support the program.
And these are tools, our tasers are tools for de-escalation. You know, if somebody's not cooperating, we don't wanna jump the gun.
Right.
And, you know, quickly rise up the ladder. We have other tools that we can use, you know, they need to be updated.
Call for the question, Mr. Chair.
Well, I don't think anybody here is talking about not needing it. That I've heard, but. Okay, all in favor of the,
Is there a motion? We don't have a motion.
well, we need a motion then.
I got a question before we do that. Okay, this is in this budget, right? So,
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
in our preliminary budget.
it's all in there, so, yeah. Go ahead.
Any motion?
I'll make the motion that we go with Exxon. I don't know exactly how to word all of that, but, you got something there.
Yeah, 10-year. We are recommending and requesting the board to approve the authorization of a 10-year agreement with Axon for the officer safety bundle.
And I will second that motion.
Yep. 815,866
Over 10 years.
over 10 years.
Zero cents.
Yep.
And there was a first and a second.
38.
He made the motion, I second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Both of you,
I've said no, I'm pretty sure you.
So you're all looking at me.
did you say no or yes?
Did you wanna do it by roll call?
We can do a roll call.
You want me to answer your question? I can save you that. I said yes.
Okay. Passes 3-2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank God, I didn't bring him. I didn't school.
Let's,
Well, now I know what that.
Holy
I've never been into her when that.
Is this just a dry run or is this something that's?
That's not a house, that's for sure.
So canceled?
Well, we better go. It's not.
Cancel. It
Huh?
has to be canceled.
Yeah, it's been canceled.
Cancel. Oh.
I never heard that before.
No, I,
Okay, we'll go into the preliminary budget. And levy.
Is there, Chad, is there a time we do that truth and taxation? Cause historically, it's been that Monday before, so it'd be like December 15th, but is there a time that? Or is that Carl's, it has to be after a certain?
Ours, I gave you the. You should have, did you include that?
Yes. There was a,
Truth and taxation hearing has to be, between November 24th. And
Okay, yep, 6 p.m.
December 29th.
Yep.
6 p.m. or later.
Jen has an additional question before we get into the budget. I think we probably should let that go first.
Did you guys want the semi-annual or the annual?
Like I said at the last public safety meeting, I personally would just leave it up to the auditor, whatever he thinks is easiest.
And, yeah. And at the end, correct? At the beginning? Done that.
Done with.
Okay.
If we're worried about not having $70,000 or $80,000 in the bench, life yet for the auditor.
I'm gonna have you sign that too.
Like,
I don't know if it's in your packet or if you want this one.
It is in the packet, but if you leave it with me, Jen, when he signs all the other ones, I'll bring it back up. And it'll
Thank you.
Jen, so one chair, that just needs to sign it. Yes. Give it to you. Okay, yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, it sits on their end, yeah, very good. Yeah. No, yeah.
Looking at the calendar, try to answer your question. Monday, December 15th. At 6 p.m.
well, my question is, do we wanna do it at 6 or do we wanna do it at 7 or 6:30 or? I don't, it doesn't matter to me.
What would that be?
7:15.
I'm indifferent, it doesn't matter.
Jill for me, but just.
Does that mean
Can I have it back?
Yeah.
You just want.
Really, they're on the same
Publishing.
page.
I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Well, I looked at it,
I played it on Sunday night football. You know, like that's what
You're everything better.
You put that in the packet.
So which one?
In your packet was the proposed budgets.
Oh, yep. It's on there,
Yeah, we couldn't find it.
it's like the fourth one from the very back.
Oh,
Like the fourth or fifth page from the last one, Jeff.
Right, you have to go right. Well, I'm giving. Only if I can more small and not like that. So, or we have between now and time. So Tina, I will move the resolution, and as we go, I'll fill in the amounts of $8,847,125 for a levy. That is what is on there, correct? The proposed,
yes,
and set the hearing date at 6:30 PM on December 15th in the main floor meeting room of the Grand County Office Building.
Western Prairie's the right number.
Hmm?
The Western Prairie one, that's the updated number.
60,000 something. Oh, yeah,
That's right, yeah.
and set the HRA at the 200,000 requested.
as a member of the budget committee, I'll second them.
So I know some of these will come down. The fair is in it, is it in that 50?
No, how about the other? We got.
Well, if you budget, let's say, and I'm not proposing that, but let's say you budget the 500,000, you potentially could spend on January second, that's gonna get added to the levy because there's no other income. So it become, my mind is if you're gonna do it, it's an unbudgeted expense, because otherwise you're putting it on, if you add it in, you're gonna put it on the levy.
Yep.
So we don't need to, is what I'm saying.
Right, okay.
So there, that was a motion made by Troy and seconded by,
My question for Chad, it says preliminary budgets, do we need to set, like, approve preliminary budgets for each department, or does the levy cover us for now?
Those, you'll set the preliminary budgets and levy.
The,
Levy, yeah.
so they should be considered one and the same?
Yeah, when you need to adopt the final budgets and the final levy, then you'll adopt final budgets. And then you'll, yeah.
Okay. I just wanna make sure we weren't missing.
No, I just did a resolution for Tina. Since we had questions, what do we need to adopt, and I said, it was a very quick resolution I gave to her, so.
I just didn't want the,
Someday when I'm not here, somebody else can follow the pattern, so.
I just didn't want the auditors to come back and say you didn't.
No, they don't. They just need to let me know.
Okay.
They don't really care about preliminary. And as you can see, if you look at the budget, if you go down and look at the road and bridge line, there is no budget. There's no revenue expenditure, it's just the levy amount, so. All I got from was the levy.
Oh,
I didn't put in the revenue expenditures, cause they seem to work on those up until December anyway, so. So we're really not adopting a budget for that because there is no budget, it's just the levy.
But everything else would be paid from road and bridge funds, from what I understand. Be non-levy dollars, according to Matt.
We're just, we're just asking how much is your levy, so.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm assuming no one had questions about this, so you got sent it over, nobody had.
That maybe wasn't quite the revenue department wages, that's the 6%, or what number did you apply to that?
Number that I received from one of the commissioners.
yeah, let's not be putting out, there's a reason why we pulled it out like that, so we're not talking about percentages.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
I did just receive are we on committees?
Yep, we're done, once we're done with this, yeah.
Then
Budget Finance Committee.
Preliminary levy was just approved.
Well, I'm glad you're up on that.
Yeah. Yes.
Building Committee.
We're going to.
If we got one coming up that got, we talked about some things, but.
Well, we're going to we're gonna go to a standing meeting, but we set a day that didn't work because we've expanded that committee some. To include more buildings, so.
More to follow.
What's that?
More to follow, is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it will include, I mean, in the past, I don't know that we got highway involved as much, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be.
More the merrier, I agree.
Personnel Committee.
One Well, I did get a text from Ashley because we forgot to approve going back to that day for Jamie's pay, so that'll be coming back at our next meeting. To the date when she accepted that role or added those duties.
Highway committee,
Okay, I can talk about it a little bit. We're, State Highway 55 from the Cat's Eye to Wendell is done and striped and put to bed and blanketed, and so that's back on line again. I was at Pine Ridge Park Road last night when I went to Herman for the Child Youth Council get together over there, and that looks pretty good, except there's gonna probably be a deduct on the east culvert where they dug the channel to divert the water. Chances are that's gonna maybe fail, not fail, but it'll maybe crack and not stay to the degree that they're supposed to get it to. So there's the talk of a deduct over there. And Wendell is done black, and all of the discussion that went on there where the storm sewer that takes the water to the west and is all intact and it's all working. There's a little bit of a blacktop issue on the end, and they were called off by our employees. Aaron Byer was over there and called them off a little bit, so they gotta come back and kind of retool that a little bit, but that's about the only thing that I have. Or we have.
we looked at that one road that day and they did sprinkle a little gravel on it and widen it out, but there's more that needs to be attention like that, so.
Okay, that's where it met up with Stevens down there. Yeah.
Yep, so it's good that they jumped on it, got, so, things, when you're talking roads and this disruption of traffic, you know what I mean? The quicker we can get in the spring of the year and get out before the harvest, I think we have a lot happier people. When you're not running trucks around the section just for the construction.
And that thing was narrow.
Your road was over there, correct. It needed to be addressed. I agree. And some gravel.
Public safety, yes. Took care of that. Solid waste.
We took care of that.
Yep. Strategic planning.
We haven't met, I guess, since last update.
Horizon.
So we met, last Monday or?
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, they're just doing the same things we're doing in the board level. We're setting their, our budget for the next year. They're looking at, which programs, got cut a little bit, but we're doing all right. And I'm happy with public health, the local levy that we have to pay towards that is, quite a deal. It's 46,000 about. And we get all those services and all of the responsibilities that each county has in the public health area taken care of. But I really like being on that committee, and I like the good things that those personnel do, So.
Western Prairie.
I just got word Traverse County did approve the contract, so.
Good. It's over.
I have one other thing, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Okay, I was over at AMC Fall Conference there, and I'm on the Public Safety Committee, and what we talked about was the mentally ill in jails. Like the mentally ill people that are in jail that shouldn't be there. So that's gonna be our number one priority there, is to try to figure out a solution there to move them out as quick as they can into some suitable housing, or placements. And it's always been a problem.
Not the MSOP people. Not the MSOP, no.
No. So, like it's like Wadena County was there and they were talking about, you know, they have a certain program that they've been trying to implement and it's been helping, but the mentally ill people that are in, a lot of them are just in there because there's no place for them and they charge them with a crime and they probably shouldn't be in there. They need to be in some other setting. And it's a problem, but, anyway, they're gonna work on that, so. You know.
Anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I could touch a little bit on the fall conference over there. There was a lot of good, you know, information that come out and there was good discussions and I think there was roundtable discussions amongst commissioners that were clear across the state. And Tina, you know what I mean, kind of sat in on some of that and there was some, in my opinion, there was some well-rounded movement through, you know, in general government, after we've seen what Health and Human Services people had portrayed on how the state needs to build into their efficiencies on the collection of data and processing through Health and Human Services and stuff like that. So through general government, we made a motion and a second, and the whole group voted for it to turn it into a priority and put it as modernization moving forward to tell the state that they're gonna have to pick up the slack a little bit here and build into yourself a little bit. Now, I don't know how that's all gonna shake out, but I can tell, but at least, you know, the emphasis of the counties, you know, helping the state build into their efficiencies. I have to believe that this should have been happened a long time ago because they're 10 to 15, possibly 20 years behind the times on collecting data.
They're 40 years behind in technology. They're using green screens for SSIS, 70s technology.
Yeah.
They allocated $35 million last year to that upgrade. The rough estimate is 170.
Okay.
So. I mean, I had the policy conference and you'll see them all at the fall meetings when we approve priorities. I mean, you look at food stamps. What I took out of it is not only is the county gonna have to pay it some of the administrative, because the federal government isn't, and the state doesn't want to. The state wants the counties to pay benefit amounts for a federal program. And, I mean, you're talking about huge sums of money if you're gonna start paying for. It's a mess, and the state's trying to keep their hands out of it and just pass everything that's being cut from the federal government down to the counties.
Yeah, they started that program. And my question was, why did it get carved out of the Farm Bill in the beginning? And this is the first year that.
You'd have to go vote for everybody that voted for that bill.
Yeah.
You'd have to go ask them.
Yeah. Well, they did piecemeal legislation for the Farm Bill. That's kind of why it went that direction.
I just know it has the potential to cost the Grant County taxpayers huge amounts of money.
Anybody got anything else?
I got a question. And I don't know if it's supposed to be talked about today or not, but are we gonna address the request from Scott and the fair building, or is that coming at a later date?
I guess that's why I asked what's next, I guess. You know. So.
Kind of addressed it in, as far as the preliminary, you answered that question, but
He's looking for a budget. My opinion, the budget committee should meet with the fair board committee, and if they're the same, and let's create a budget for it. Put it on the next month's agenda.
I mean, we're gonna probably end up with $12 million in reserves. Our overall cost around the county is what, 21, 22?
So let's be careful. Because is that $12 million figure you're quoting, is that also include the final bond payment on the courthouse, which is I believe it's 2 point something million dollars.
Yes, it does.
So now you're at 10.
No,
We said the 12 includes it.
it was 14 less than 2 something.
Oh,
Right.
so it-
Right. That's where that's at.
Well, I think Bill's idea there, we gotta start someplace. Just, talk about it. And meet with them. We can't do nothing, I mean, we gotta at least,
So I talked with Scott yesterday and about what I would need, and that's something he's gotta work on. That's not I mean, I don't know what the budget committee I mean, we just laid it out, the budget committee, right? The money's there, it's, the board's gotta make a decision now. We just talked about huge expenses that are potentially coming, and I'm one person, I would like to see what, and I'm gonna leave it with Scott, that what I talked to him about, that we gotta find some offsets.
Well, that's my feeling, and like I say, I did a little research, and you can rent a 60 by 120 foot tent for between $9,000 and $10,000, put up and take it out for 4 days. Well, that's 50 years of tent rental. Now, obviously, we're not gonna rent a tent for 50 years, and we have to look at building costs, but I think we have to look at bringing some funds in and some other cuts. And I mean, we've just approved 50, which they kind of asked for 40.
Well, they originally asked for 50, and that's what.
It got pared back.
But they come back.
Well, it's still 50 and.
It's still 50, and what I'm saying is, maybe whether we leave it 50 in the final budget, or if we cut it back to 40, but out of that, maybe we say, look, we'll pay for the tent rental and do some more.
Well, what I said to him was, we've got, if you look at it in 10 years. Cause that's the time frame. He said, if he got what he wanted, they would come back for 10 years. And if it was lowered even to 40,000 per year. 500,000 for a building. And you've got extension at $120,000 a year, you're looking at $2.1 million over 10 years. That's
128,000.
I used 120. So, I mean, no, 2.1 million, I mean, that's $210,000 a year, that's not.
That's right.
That needs, I mean, if we wanna talk, that number's gotta come down. So I don't, and that's why I don't wanna give a false sense of putting together a budget to say, well, if you do this, I mean. That. And I get where it's hard for them, because it's the same pot of money. Whether you're taking it out of taxes or it's being donated, 80% of it is still the same, it's coming from land. What I do think though, and Bill, you can tell me if I'm wrong, is I think knowing we have an unspent pot of money, now that we're moving forward with Axon, I think we should pay more upfront. I think the building or the budget committee should meet. And I think we should try to bring that year over year cost down.
Okay, Axon program?
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, cause the budget, I believe, had 100 and something thousand upfront in there. And I think we should look at buying that annual payment down some more. I mean, does the board want the budget committee to look at that?
We can certainly look at it and just see, you
Cause
know.
we're sitting in a position that is good, and we don't know what 27 and 28 are, so even. I mean, another 200 takes $20,000 a year off of that.
And you are correct, you know, these intergovernmental agency transfers that we get, the revenue side of things. If that starts to shrink a little bit. That's kind of what I worry about. You know, the Department of Justice, I mean, if you look at the revenue side of things. That's all does, you know, if they crack off 10%, it's gonna hurt.
Oh, if they take, I mean, just county program A, if they take off 10%, that's $60,000+. I mean,
No, we fought tooth and nail for that for years. Tried to get it to, you know, so it actually acted like a levy reduction tool. Before it didn't. Like I said, 10 years ago, I got on the budget committee after Troy got on. Like, I ended up getting on the budget committee. We were 114,000 at county program meeting.
I mean, and we hopefully will get some of that 300,000, no, some of that probably is already spent somewhere else, but the other thing is we have to figure out how to come up with a more efficient extension program than that 120. And that could almost fund this thing.
We're locked up into a 3-year MOU. 2 more years, I think.
One.
One more.
Is it in 1 more? So it was a 2 years ago.
Yeah, and so I, that's one of the reasons why I think we should rent the tent and look at challenge ourselves in the budget committee. I feel bad for our chairman because he's kind of got a foot in both sides of this thing.
I think I'll quit at the end of the year.
Quit which one?
Both.
so does the board want the budget committee to look at buying that Axon down more?
Yes. I think that's all right.
I would like to see that, but I also think that the budget committee needs to meet with the fair board just to listen to what's said, you know, I mean, I don't think we can just not.
Well, that doesn't, what we've said is the money's there.
Yeah.
I mean, meeting with them again doesn't change it's already there.
I just don't want to pay any interest. I'm not in favor of bonding. Play this game.
To be fair to the fair board, they asked for a budget.
Yes.
So I think if it's 0 or 500,000, you have to give them a number.
Now,
I'm not suggesting when, but I think they put a lot of research and work into, you know, getting this project done to keep our fair going. And so they deserve to know
Say definitely before the end of the year.
Yeah.
what the number is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
and I understand that, and that's why I brought it up to talk about it, but if one of the, other than the cost of building will go up like everything else does, but if they have to operate out of the tent in 2026, that was an option. Scott laid on the table. They have the money to tear it down.
It's just getting tore down, it would be, I mean, sound, but.
But I mean, that,
Yeah.
you agree that, and so if we fund the tent rental and then look at some of these other savings.
Well, I didn't say it directly, I guess maybe I'll have to, is that let's address our budget, and then I can give you a budget. So if we can lower that $210,000 annually, then let's talk about a budget, but currently at the 40,500 over 10 years and 120, 130, whatever that is. I don't have a budget because that's too much. That, to me, that's where I'm at.
But as a budget committee, meeting with the fair committee, I think that would be a good discussion to have, to Dwight's point.
Well, I'll meet with them. I had that conversation with Scott yesterday, but
But the full committee and then, you know. Everybody is, the conversation could be good. Maybe there's other solutions or something.
I agree, because they asked for some type of budget, so. We just need to sit down with them and talk to them a little bit more.
See, my challenge, it's not the project, it's the fiscal piece. And that's where I think we gotta work at it. I support project. I have no problem with that at all. I just gotta explain it to a number of people when they say, how could you just take that much money out of reserves, and I gotta think there's some options. That's for that reason, we should need to work on it, and we should rent them a tent.
So when you guys met, the budget committee met, the auditor, our auditor, he said that that money is there and it could, he kind of agreed with that then, Troy, or what?
I am not putting any words in anyone's mouth. No one on that committee said that the money wasn't there.
Okay.
The question was, are you gonna replace it or not? That was the question.
Replace it if we took it out of reserve?
If you take $500,000 out of reserve, are you gonna budget over the next 10 years, $50,000 to replenish that 500?
I see.
If you have questions, I'm still on the meeting.
Okay.
So, Chad, what's the total? We don't know that approximately, 21, 22 million to run the county?
Come again with that? What are you asking?
If we apply like, say, $12 million in reserves to what our costs to run the county, what percentage would that be? 55, 60?
We historically have been right where we need to be every year for 20 years, right at about 50%, unless there are extremely large highway projects.
So, and 50 is okay, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I hear you quoting fund balance numbers, and I get nervous because yes, we have a fund balance, and you had emailed me during the meeting and asked what our fund balance was. I gave you the fund balance in total for the county. Keep in mind, that is our total, approximate total fund balance. Fund balances are either designated, undesignated. We have many of those, such as included in the fund balance, and I'm just pulling something out of my head, like 911 funds would be included in that. Well, we can't just use 911 funds for anything. Road and bridge funds are included in that. We can't just use those for anything. Tax and penalty fund is in that. Well, it's a bigger conversation than just how much do we have in fund balance. I would have to figure out what do you have in non-designated or undesignated fund balance.
So that when the budget committee works on it, that's the numbers that.
And my question is, I've heard you talk about the budget committee meeting with the fair board committee. What outcome are you looking for if the budget committee works with the fair committee? What are you looking for out of that?
For them to get them a budget and then, kind of a, piecemeal, project, and a stages or, the level of, how this thing is gonna come together.
I don't believe they're looking for a budget. They're looking for a dollar amount that the county would be willing to contribute. That's what he's asking for.
Yeah, he said budget, but that's true enough.
Chad said, he just said it right. I think he's looking for the funds.
Yeah.
And that's an answer that we as a budget committee, I don't believe can come up with. That's a board decision, not a auditor, coordinator, and 2 board member decision, and treasurer.
Well, Chad, so if the board, we decided to, go into reserves and take that money out of there, are we hurting ourselves or aren't we? I mean,
If you asked me today and came to me today and said, Chad, can we afford to cut a check for $500,000 right now? We can do that. I can't tell you what's going to happen next year. I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't tell you what's going to happen next year for budgeting and 27 for budgeting. I can tell you at this particular time, the county could do that. That also comes with questions of, if you're going to do that, are you going to are you going to then try to recover those funds and build your reserve back up? Or are you not going to do that over a period of time? As I stated in the budget committee when we met, I believe you as the board probably need to have a discussion on, you're fixated on one request right now, right? And what's in front of you is the request from the Fair Board. We also know that come final budget time, there are going to be other decisions to be made. You have, I don't know what your requests are from highway, as far as equipment or additional funding. You have a wage study that's not done. You have union agreements that are not settled. This is one part of if you come to me and say, yep, we're going to do X dollars to the fair, and now you come back and say, well, we adopted a wage study and it's going to cost another $450,000 a year. And then you come back and tell me, well, the highway department wants 2 more trucks. Now we have an issue. And I think, Troy, if I'm right, that's kind of what I relayed at the budget committee meeting.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that's what I was trying to say that, I didn't say it as well, is that, I mean, it's there today, but by the end of the year, it may not be.
Or tomorrow. I mean, this is not a decision that I can make, that the budget committee can make. This is a decision that is the philosophy of the board, in my opinion.
Well, the member of the budget committee, I mean, I agree, that was what was asked at the last meeting, was the budget committee should get together, and I heard the word bonding, and I wanted to make sure we were clear that that's gonna cost a lot of money and take time. And what came out of there is, that check could be written today, but at the end of the year, you may regret it. Next February, you may regret it.
I agree that it's a board decision. My point was, I think the Fair Board needs to know as soon as the board knows what your decision is, they need to know what that is, so they can start making plans for how they're going to move forward.
Just Chad, if you're still there, I brought up too, that now that there's a decision on Axon, that my thought is, should we buy down, put more down on the front end and buy that year over year increase, not knowing what future years are? Well, that would also affect what is on hand.
Yeah, that's something we could look at. I don't think it changes the overall cost of the program. If you were to put a down payment down, I don't have that answer. We would have to look at a couple different things. If you're looking at reducing your annual payment, that's great. But if you're taking money out of reserves, keep in mind you're also taking money out of investments, which in turn will decrease whatever interest you're gaining every year to offset the levy.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's why we want to talk about it. Yep.
Yeah. And just to be clear, the interest rates are not gonna stay where they're at. They're gonna drop.
Well, I mean, right, so we can maybe ask for a balloon payment in there somewhere not for the whole thing, but yeah.
So back in, I agree with Tina's comment. However, if, assuming once again that the cost of the buildings may go up, but we really don't need to necessarily give them a dollar amount. Well, we can say, we're not gonna make a decision until next year when some things, we know some more from a year from now. I mean, that could be our answer.
Mr. Chair. I guess I wouldn't mind hearing what your thoughts are.
I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna?
No.
Okay.
He's in a tough spot.
Yeah, I know that. But
Rock and a hard place.
It is.
I was there many times. It ain't much fun.
No. Been there. So that's why I'm supportive of the fair. I wanna do what I can, or what we can for 'em.
But like Scott said, without Ag Bash.
Yeah.
The fair wouldn't exist.
No.
So if those, dollars, through Ag Bash start to shrink. You know what I mean? I mean, traditionally, this. It's up to the county as a whole to address it. That's my opinion. And this building has been on the forefront ever since I've been on this board. There's always been talk of, what can we do? What can we do? Well, we helped them out with the bathrooms because that was a travesty for the bathrooms that were there. And the more of a draw that we have for that county and get them guys, you know what I mean? Into our festivity, it's growing every year, I think, don't you think, Doyle?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah. And it's families and it's kids and, how can you measure that? When you get families together and kids and they're having fun and things like that, how can you measure that? You can't.
But how do you say yes to that when for years we said no to the Humane Society needing a roof?
Yeah, and it got put into play eventually.
The other thing is
But some of us donated to it.
we're gonna get the opportunity to take a look at this cost of this extension program. And I'm guessing if you look at replenishing the reserves, if we went ahead with this, could come out of that. But that's gotta be a year from now, and that's why I'm saying, I think the numbers, we're gonna know a lot more a year from now, and I think, like you said, $50,000 a year, well, out of, that budget was $128,000, we're gonna look at that.
Right, but it is, I mean, if you include extension in there, you're looking at $210,000 a year. That number's gotta come down.
Yes.
We could move the courthouse to Herman and bring the fair up here.
I don't think that moving company's been budgeted,
That's why I brought that up, though, Doyle, because
okay. So how did you vote on that, Dwight, when they put the courthouse here in Fair and Herman?
Yeah, well,
So maybe,
there's some days I think I was around.
so we talked about having the budget committee look at an option on Axon, maybe we should challenge not only that, but that the budget committee take a look at the vision 12 months from now. At some of those opportunities to free up funding and have them bring back some numbers.
Free up which funding?
Well, we'll take a look at, if that contract with extensions up, what.
Well, that's not a budget thing. If the board decides to continue the contract with the extension, we'll figure out how to pay for it, but that would be an extension committee thing.
Yeah.
There's a committee.
And that's a Doyle and I question and discussion, because we sit on that committee. So. Again.
Well, I'm with Troy on it. I think it's too much. We gotta come up with some other dollars before I would be favor of it.
Anybody got anything else?
No.
Okay, then we'll adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
11